The Out There channel.
Please sub and share.
Searching for the truth. UFOs, aliens, greys and ufology. Real images, real stories, real videos, real cases, researched and investigated by professionals in the field and cutting-edge discoveries. Multiple witnesses, abduction accounts brought to you by Team The Out There channel. Good to be back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Action.
Yo. So that's the new intro. Robert says never showing up since he was going to go on the show. Not even once a month, so decided to remove him from the intro because it's mostly me. So at the beginning now it says "Bio" as a fly out in the flying saucer there at the beginning. Out the channel. Bio! Anyway, I thought it was kind of funny. And of course now we got the robot who shoots out the spaceman that shoots out the lasers, hunting out frauds out there. And stepping them and vaporizing them. That's what we need in ufology right now, because it's just getting worse. I can't see it getting any better anytime soon. So who's out there? Anybody? I think there was one on there before, but now they're gone. Yo. Anyone out there? Anyone wants to come on and talk on the show today? It's Lazy Sunday in New Zealand. It's a bit cold day today too. It goes from one extreme to the other. Let's just type up some stuff on the side. You won't see me doing it because I'll do it on screen 1, not screen 2, which is the capture screen. That's how we do things with streams. You have to have 2 monitors nowadays, 3 even better, 4 even better again. So, can ufology be saved from YouTube frauds and mainstream media / government lies? Okay, so if that doesn't whet your juices, I don't know what will get you interested. I got a few clips and things to play. Okay, I'll just put up the last comment. Remember, you can support me anytime with the thank you button now, if you like using Google payment system. But you can click on that link there I just pinned, and you can become a member or a patron, where most of the money comes to the channel rather than line in Google's pockets. Also some other options there, subscribe star and stuff, and one-off tips. You can still do that too anytime, I think, as far as I know, using the OBS system. Okay, so the subs have been going up a wee bit since the last stream, not much, but it's gone up. What's that? At least 2 on Rumble, and surprise, surprise, BNT, which I thought was pretty much dead and almost ready to pull out uploading stuff there because there's a lack of interest lately, and lots of insults there about me breathing, or that I'm boring and don't like my intro and all that sort of stuff, usual trolls that like their 5-minute, 10-minute fraud channels episodes. And you can see there YouTube is still trying to remove subs. So every time I go forward, they make me go backwards. So that's going to be a problem. So at this rate, with the lack of support I'm getting and the money coming in still, it's going to be very hard for me to continue after this Christmas. So you're going to have to get behind me, guys. I just can't keep on going. Especially if no one's interested in what I'm doing. Point in case that no one shows up to my live streams now. It's pretty sad, considering it should be a fairly good time to come on and chat with us on the side chat, because this is the time to do it. Maybe when Shoot gets live streaming going, maybe their lives will be a lot more interactive. But it could be a lot more trolls. Depends how they do it, I guess. The promises of it 2 years ago, and it still hasn't shown up. So if it doesn't show up soon, it could be the end of the Out There channel. Because YouTube is destroying me, and these alt media places are not coming over to YouTube to chat when it's live, because they hate YouTube. And they don't trust YouTube. Where's the time thing on this one? Time. Get me what it looked like now. I used to have a time option, which used to tell us what time it was around the world. Let's see. What does it look like now? Instead of a capital T, they had some strange icon for it. Was that the one? No. We try to do some sky watching. Looks like the carpet's going down next week, so maybe I will be able to set up my sky watching cables again and try out the new setup. I've got a new phone, although I haven't got all the power connectors, I don't think. Still taking ages to get it for AliExpress. So which one's the time function? I can't see it there. There we go. World clocks. So how can I get that? Oh. World clocks. Click on that. No. Click on that. And I think it scrolls off the bottom. It does too. No. Can't go any lower than there. Firstly, having that so you can't scroll to it. That's just crazy, isn't it? They haven't allowed for 150 DPI. Stupid. So, let's just sort it in order of alphabetical so we can find the damn thing. So it's a circle with a clock in it. Well, a globe with a clock in the corner. Be damned if I can see it now. Not in that list anyway. It's got to be here somewhere there. Has to be. That's stupid. It's got to be off the bottom. Maybe it is alphabetical, isn't it? It is, so world clocks will be below where I can get to it. How stupid. Yeah, I'm not sure there's any way around that. Apart from maybe reducing the size of the font. 75, we'll try that. No, still won't go down. If you could get rid of all that crap at the top there, then we'd have more space in the pull down. There's always problems. World clocks, can we get there? Oh, there it is it? Yeah. There it is there, we can't, can we select it? No. So the size of the font didn't seem to help. Try something else. Go down to 50%. Because that's the size it would normally be without the 150 DPI. So you see if that fixes it. Nope. Still can't get there. I'd have to get rid of one of my other tools to move it up one. Stupid. I don't know. Is there any I'm not using? I suppose. These are allowed, we don't use anymore. You block, where's that stopped? Supposed to get rid of read aloud. I don't want to. Do we need the IE tab? IE tab allows you to run some of the older software that hasn't been converted, that used to use IE code. You can click on it and then it sort of allows those old pages to work again. I don't think we need volume booster anymore. It was a handy little tool though. Now we had all these screen recorders. Must be something I don't need. I suppose you can get rid of no coin. Just take a chance. Okay. So for the time being, we can get rid of that. I guess. How do we get rid of it? Uninstall it. Let's not uninstall it though. That is. Okay. So let's put that back up. See what works now. No. So I could click it. Maybe the size did work. Let's go back to 75. No, it doesn't seem to. It's very annoying. See, it's meant to be pinned, but I don't see it there on the list. Ridiculous. What was that one? Cookies. Okay. What's that one? Tonight. Why has it not got a scroll thing on the end here? See, I don't know who tests out the code they write, but they don't do a really good job of it, do they, nowadays? It's really sloppy. It's not up to my standards, anyway. I don't think I can select it with the other tool. It's really way better than theirs. At least it goes that way. World clock. Where is it there? Okay, if it's, has it got launch? Lock? Has it got, yeah, only just removes it. Why has it not got launch it? So frustrating. What's that one that just went down there? You put it in private window here. Damn stupid. Can't be accessed. Has it been banned? Okay. World clocks. Probably should create a web page one instead. Let's see what we can find. I did have a good one at one stage. So it could be that one. It's really hard to read it though, but that might do it. Christchurch, okay, New York, 10 PM, so there should be people around. London, 3:20 AM, I don't think so, unless you're a complete insomniac or early riser. Tokyo. So that means 3 hours more than, let's see, New York. That means it's going to be bedtime for Californians. So I guess it is a bit late for everybody. Well. So we should really bookmark that, so it's in the list. Later we'll probably forget about it. So much for the tab making it easy. Always having to hack Windows stuff. Mind you, Macintosh is nothing better. Okay, now we just have to click on that. Good stuff. At least we got something going. Alright, so I suppose we should begin. Don't know if anyone's out there. No. Someone did sneak in and hit a like on it. A supporter that doesn't want to hang around. So, it's a bit sad that, you know, the tear in the sky people have decided to go on third phase of the moon. This came out, where is it? Yeah, I have to come back to those. There it is there. Major UFO cover exposed. What government insider just told us. Yeah, he didn't even add their names there. So I would have said interview with Kevin Day and producer of Tear of the Sky. Whatever her name is. Oh, grin. Hee hee hee. Grin. So, this sort of stuff is not helping us. Where we get people that are meant to have credible stories go on fraud channels when they should know they're fraud channels. And make them more legitimate. And this is not going to get ufology anywhere better. It's going to take 100 years to get rid of all the old crap. Probably Google will purge even my videos by then. So if you want to keep them, download them. I won't bite your head off. Although, you know, I did make it legal to own a copy of my stuff just by joining Patreon and just donating $30 a month. That's all you had to do. I think it was. Then you can download and enjoy it anytime you want, even when you don't have internet. Certainly plenty there to watch if you're new to the channel. We had lots of guests on in the past too, and lots of cool stories, which we don't get anymore, because they've sort of been blacklisted ever since the GUFON attack happened. Have been getting some good comments lately though, like I think it's on, was it the last one here? So what happens is I get good, so let's go back. I get good comments, but Google seems to hide them. Pretty sure I had a good comment there. I only got one listed with a thumbs up. Seems like everything's against me. Okay, so we got one good comment here from Shotgun. I don't think he joins us in live shows, but he watches it constantly. And he posted another comment which I couldn't even read myself through the admin panel. It just wouldn't allow me to see it, so I couldn't read what he said. As soon as I approved it from not being spam, it vanished completely. Should never happen. This is common for YouTube. It's because they've added so much anti stuff they don't like that they've lost control of all the bugs in their scripts now. So he's saying I'm on to it here. Keep up the good work. I'm listening. Appreciate your take on these charlatans and UAP field. All good. So, yeah, from time to time I do get a good comment that does seem to stick, especially if I can get to pin it. Pin it tends to make it stick a bit better. But anyway, there's not enough people commenting, obviously, anymore. I don't know what's happened to people. Has everybody sort of given up on it now? So they did an interview here.
So much his story, the way he told it, and
So I won't be able to play it because of copyright, probably. She looks kind of alien herself, doesn't she? She's got the slopey eyes. She doesn't even sound American.
how much it affected him, that, and hearing it from him.
I don't know, is that a Dutch accent or something? Undertone, a Dutch American. And Kevin Day, he looks like he's ready to die, really, doesn't he? Look, he's a dead man walking. When someone starts wasting away like that, it's not a good sign. He's not eating. I think he's lost his mind. What do you think about that, this guy? Now, David Fravor called him out lots of times, saying he doesn't believe what he saw and what he's saying. So, I don't know who's telling lies and why he's at conflict with him. But he did put out a book, a 95-page book, which was a really weird book. It had a wee bit of sex in it, about sailors going to Philippines, I think it was. It's been a while since I read it. He meets a shop owner there and tries to buy something. And then he starts talking about the encounter out at sea with the UFOs. And then afterwards he meets up with people that say talks about the seers that can bring UFOs into our world through a portal. A bit like Manda, what do you call it? What's it called? Mandela effect principle. So you can change reality and timelines, which I've sort of got into the deep end of way out there. So yeah. So then it was mixing in story with some truth of the Nimitz counter, then some, I don't know, fantasy. I don't know if you've ever read his book or not. Hey, Mr. G, at least someone's showing up. How's it going? Lazy Sunday here. I suppose it's sort of super early in the morning where you're at, is it? I just looked at the times. So it's good for you to join us anyway. So what do you think of Kevin Day? He looks like a dead man walking, doesn't he? And now he's going on third phase, repeating the same story that we've heard a billion times already. And you got all these newcomers, pretty faces, which I was just saying she looks a wee bit alien with the slopey eyes. Coming into the field, trying to make movies, trying to make spend $1 million on it and try and make millions of bucks out of it, like a James Fox. It does look like a dead man walking, it does, doesn't he? So why though? It's almost like when people do come out, stuff starts happening to them. Oh, what's going on here? What's that come up for? Okay, so I'm just saying that their reputation now is toast, because now they're doing an interview with this laughing fraudster. That's all you can say about him, really.
And with all these
Look at the smirk on his face. Oh.
details, I said, oh my God, I have to include this, you know, because that's what triggered so many other things afterwards. So that's the reason why I was very, very touched. And it ended up being an extraordinary thing with the film, because the human story was weaved in the discovery.
And so I don't really want to play it because, you know, what these guys are like. They put strikes on me before.
The contacts and the friends I had on the USS Nimitz, they initially went there first, and imagine the data initially went back to the carrier, and then they flew off. So who knows where it went? Back to the beach somewhere.
He's got worse eyebrows than Tyler Klockner, hasn't he? He's got to get some shaving tips from Tyler. How to get those eyebrows under control. He might look a wee bit better then, and dye his hair maybe. But he definitely needs to eat a lot of KFC, as far as I'm concerned. Because weight, you know, everyone keeps going on about weight, but when you get sick, you lose that weight really, really quickly. And that's like a protection thing, really. Weight. After Mum had a heart attack, the doctor said you got to keep on the weight. And she's worrying about his figure and all that. And he said, no, it's good that you've put on weight. Because they know if you get sick, you're going to need that in reserve, you know. Yeah, eyebrows are just crazy, aren't they? They just stand out. He looks like Bert from the Muppets. So yeah. So this obviously goes on a bit. I'm not sure if there's any more. Let's just go through. They'll be playing clips for the movie, I guess. So how much money did they get then? It's gone off. How much money was it? Does it say? $10. Someone's got $10 to waste on a fraud channel because they managed to get an interview with these clowns. I'm really gutted that they're on here though, because the more and more people they get coming on that you think are credible researchers, it just puts a boot in the whole ufology field. It's always about money now. Saddens me, it really does. I don't know what you think. She's always smiling. I reckon you shouldn't always smile. It's not a good thing.
July 14th. I just kind of, you know, I connected with my own higher power, whatever that is. And I just went in and said,
yeah, I just don't like that. And how many people watched it? Probably more than average, no? It's actually quite low. So maybe other people are disgusted that they went on third phase. And it might actually be worse for them. Maybe they're sick of hearing the same old story. Look, this guy's falling asleep, look. He's falling asleep trying to listen to her. This is hilarious. Is he going to wake up? Let's see.
let's just do this.
Oh, look, he's woken up. Oh, almost drifted off then. And Blake there is laughing his head off. Just like I am.
So we picked the week of July 12th to the 16th.
It's going off again. Go on, fall asleep. That would be funny.
And sure enough, on the 14th,
He's
we
struggling.
had the first sighting. And so
He's
because
bored. Look, he's looking away. I love it.
We were feeling
Blake quickly switched screens. He knew that the guy was losing interest.
with hardcore scientists, which was good for this type of film.
Is he going to come back? He's awake
You
still.
are what I think you are.
He doesn't look really interested, does he? He's totally zoned out. Someone give him some weed. Nah, he doesn't want to be there. Just keep on going for it. He's still looking over here. I think it's because she's taken over, right?
And he has he's represented me, and he has.
All right, he's talking now, but he's not focusing on the camera. Where is he looking? He's like a zombie. Strange. It's really strange. Now she's always all cheery and staring straight at the camera, because she's probably been to film school or whatever, you know, same as GUFON. Always keep your eyes on the camera, else people think you're not interested. Anyway, I think that's the only thing they put out today. I think we're pretty much up to date with the garbage they've put out, and there you go. But, you know, that sort of really upset me last night when I saw that they were on there. And if you want to go and listen to the interview, go ahead. But remember, unless you got ad blocker, they'll make some money out of it. Now, carrying on from Steve and GUFON's attack. He made up a summary here of list of 10 lies that GUFON has told. So we might just play that, just have a listen. Because he did exactly the same to me. He told lots of lies, twisted things around, claimed I said this when I hadn't. It's just hilarious. This guy never changes in 2 years, exactly the same nonsense. So we'll just play a bit of that.
We've gotten 3 more.
Might have to turn it up a bit, I'm not sure.
Examples of garbage stories peddled by third phase.
Sounds like he's in the toilet there. His microphone's not working. Again. It's coming off a microphone off the laptop.
But remember, I'm the bad guy for saying that they're...
Although when I use my laptop microphone, it doesn't sound that bad, so I'm not too sure. I suppose it's more directional. I don't know, unless he's added the effect to sound like he's in a tin can.
That they're garbage. So that's where we're at, but I do have a little bit more for you. Because Rich is constantly telling people he's going on this, tirade, both on his own channel and on other people's channel, claiming that I lied. I just picked my favorite 10 or 11 lies that he's telling about me right now. So we'll go through them. I'm trying to wrap this up as quickly as possible because honestly, I forgot that it's the last day of the month and it's my birthday, and I still have to make the show's monthly show journal for you.
Okay, apparently that mockery did, that we played a clip of it. Where he was talking about the one eye. He may have got a strike for it because the video's been removed off GUFON's channel. He said he's going to go over it here now.
Patreon supporters, I haven't missed one yet. I'm going to do that as soon as I end. I'm going to do that. End tonight's broadcast. Number 1, Rich lied and said that I would sue him. Not true. Show me a clip, Rich, where I said I would sue you. Somebody in the live chat suggested that I should sue him for slander or libel. And why did I do that? Or why did they say that? See, he's...
No, I think Steve did say a comment like, you can be liable for that. I suppose that's the same as suing, though, is it? Maybe that's where Rich has interpreted what he said to mean that he's going to sue him. That's liable in court.
He's making excuses now, and he had to take his video down because I informed him that it was a community guideline strike. I didn't say I was going to strike his channel. I didn't say I was going to sue him. Show me a clip of me saying that. But he's going to go on other channels and lie through his teeth, saying that I'm the liar here. That's lie number one. And here's the clip of what he actually said in regard to the pedo comment. I should be very clear in pointing out, saying something like this is a slimeball thing to do, and they've done it. Or, you know what? I'll play it in a moment. Number two, lied and said I would strike his channel. Not true. I never said I was going to strike his channel. I did advise him that what he said in that video he was forced to take off of YouTube was a community guidelines strike, because it is. I never said that I would strike his channel myself. I just told him, you know what you did? That's a community guidelines strike, Rich. So he lied and said that I said I would strike his channel. Never happened. Show me a clip. Number three, lied and said that I had to go back 8 years to find examples of third phase pushing fake shit. No, I used an example from February of 2022, just a few short months ago. Tonight, he's going to keep going. That's one of the talking points.
Yeah, he'll keep on going back on that one. The music, unfortunately, is a wee bit too loud here. Hopefully it doesn't sound too bad if you don't wear a headset. But yeah, they lie all the time. They twist and turn things. It's deceptive. They may not hoax the original thing, but by adding to it, they actually turn it into a more of a hoaxy thing. So, like, someone films a light off the reflection of the window, they'll blab and talk over about it all, saying, "Oh, that's one of the best UFOs we've seen," or whatever that, and it's total garbage. To me, that's fraud. They don't know what it is, and of course they get away with it saying UFO because it's unidentified, right? So, but they know as soon as you say UFO that people are thinking alien craft, right? So they're using words to plant images in people's heads, and until those type of people leave the fields, using NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, they're going to be forever influencing new people to the field, and young people to the field that have no clues. They've yet to wise up on what they're seeing. I was the same when I started in the UFO field. I think, oh yeah, it does kind of look like a bolt, in, the Mars rock or whatever. Oh, it does look like it's floating, but I never ever thought about, never bothered researching the how they make up the images in the first place and finding all the errors. So yeah, I used to send it around, people saying, "Look at this, it looks like a robot head." They probably thought I was crazy, and now I look back on it and I feel embarrassed how I was suckered in. And I think everybody gets suckered in at one point in this field, and because we want to believe so much. And I've become a bit more skeptical the more and more I listen to Security, because I was being sent the emails from someone saying, "Oh, watch this is very interesting," and saying the guy's got leakers. They send it by secure email, but didn't say what email system they use and how did they send it to them, especially big images. Emails are normally limited to 20 megabytes. What's secure nowadays? A random cryptic link to upload service, and then you stick it into Proton Mail. Is that encrypted? I don't know.
That we haven't faked anything in a long time, and these people that are critics, they have to go back 8 years or 7 years or 5 years to find examples of us faking things. No, I just showed you last week an example from February of 2022. Tonight we saw an example from April of 2022 and May of 2022 of them pushing fake garbage. So don't lie through your teeth, Rich, and tell people that we've got to go back 8 years to find examples of third phase pushing shit. They've been pushing shit the whole time that you're working for them, and you're lying through your teeth, telling people if they got caught with hoaxing things, I couldn't associate with them. Okay. Number 4, he lied and said that I said that they stole that fake TR3B video. No, I didn't. I never said that Third Phase stole the TR3B video that we caught them with from February 2022, hoaxing or faking or clickbaiting garbage. I never said that they stole it. The original uploader of the video made a video accusing them of stealing it. And by the way...
That's correct. I pointed that out too. Because he only listened to what he wanted to listen to for his agenda, GUFON.
He contacted them, crickets. Number 5, Rich Lott.
Crickets, meaning no reply, I guess. So he contacted them and got no reply back, that's what he's saying there. So I didn't know that. I thought he just had any reply, full stop. I didn't know he contacted them. I think he said remove it. Maybe that's the contact he's talking about there. Remove that, you haven't got permission. So to Third Phase, I guess that's in communication with the video uploader. Obtaining permission.
Biden said that I said if you hang out with hoaxers, you must be a hoaxer too. Wrong. I never said that, Rich. Show me the clip. He used me saying if he hangs out with hoaxers, he must be a hoaxer too, as a justification for his pedo comments about perhaps me, Stephen, has friends that are pedos, and apparently that could make me a pedo. Wrong. I never said that. Show me a clip of me saying that, Rich. You can't. That's just bullshit excuse for saying that I may have friends that are pedos and implying...
The problem here is that GUFON won't play this on his channel for his members to hear this, because then they might think, oh shit, Richard is quoted in things which are not correct in ufology. That's a no-no. He's remembering UFO cases wrong and all this. What can you trust?
That I may be a pedo myself. And just so everybody's aware, they previously called the Out There channel, Third Phase, I'm told, previously called the Out There channel a pedo for being critical of their garbage, hoaxes, or fake stories, or clickbait garbage. And
I don't think Third Phase did, but GUFON certainly did, and some of his fans did. What's his name? DB Cooper 777. So Steve hasn't watched my stuff, obviously, but it's good to have a mention there. I wasn't expecting it, because this is the first time I actually listened to this myself.
For peddling fake manipulated stories. He came out as a critic against them, started showing how they fake shit, and this is fake, and this is fake. Suddenly, Third Phase is calling them a pedo. So I believe that this was intentional. This is part of their game plan. This is part of their playbook. If you can't kill the message, kill the messenger. Imply to everybody, or just...
So Third Phase may be saying that behind my back, of course. But they certainly did call me other names. They didn't like me talking about the... what's her name? I've forgotten it already. The redhead that they had on there for ratings boost. That's all I can say that she was on there for. She was a bad interviewer. She had no clue about ufology whatsoever when she was doing the interviews. She didn't know anything about Greer and his past work, did she? She was just terrible. And to say that they didn't like me calling her an airhead, which that's basically what it is, you know. Dressed up in kind of sleazy looking clothing just to try and get the boys all excited to watch their channel is not really good. I don't know, it's like that news channel that has the girls slowly strip. What's that one called? The Nude News or something. You know, you can still subscribe to it and download it if you wanted to, if you find it out on free streams. But But GUFON certainly did call me pedo in emails. He didn't say it on air, although in my movie he does say it, and that was me just joining two clips together. But that was to read out what he was saying in the comment. Of course, wasn't actually factual, that bit. But who cares? He did say that I was a pedo in comments, and that's just as bad, if not worse. We tried to report the comments, and Google just wouldn't remove them. And all the other insults, they're probably still there. But I think he deleted the whole episode in the end because he thought I was going to sue him. But by then it's always too late, because people, as soon as they start seeing insults, start documenting and screen capturing it. That's what you have to do in this field. There's haters and there's lovers, I guess.
Just tell them that he may be a pedo. You know, maybe they're going to call Astral Citizens, the Heathcliff, a pedo next. But oh wait, they can't, because now they're caught using those tactics. And good, I say good for that. And for those, some people said I overreacted. I'm going to play you the clip of what he actually said what Rich said in regard to these pedo comments. And you're going to tell me that I'm the bad guy here for calling him out and saying that that was slimy and a wrong thing to do. I have a wife, I have children, and I volunteer for children's charities. And this dumbass, this bitch, Rich from GUFON, he goes on a public live stream and he says this about...
Yeah, so straight away that could ruin Stephen's public life, right? Private and public life. So the communities might read that thing from GUFON saying, oh, we can't have this guy in our group if that's the case. Has anyone done background check on Cambian? So everybody be doing background checks on him now. So I did actually put out the movie with the comments, so it's all documented. Yeah, it'll be a fair way down now. And it's called GUFON, The Contradiction. Because his name is Dick, right? Richard. And he's always contradicting himself. Whereabouts was it? I think I may have just gone past it. Maybe not. I'll find it. I'll just play a clip of it anyway, just to back up what Stephen said there. And I actually did do rebuttals, you know, to everything GUFON said, including showing my qualifications on live, and a couple of the last references I got from employers, which were just as amazing. No one gets references from those guys like I did. You'd have to know the people that I'm talking about to realise that they don't give away character references like that to about anybody. But here's the movie I made. And it covers everything that he did
this now house
for 1 year.
And my mother laughs. She laughs at me. You know, because I was trying to eat a hamburger, and you know, I'm like this, you know, like, you know, have one hand like this and one normal.
Okay, so he fell asleep, and his hand, the nerves in his hand wouldn't work anymore. And he was saying, "Oh, I'm going to have to leave ufology now because I've been down to one hand. I got damaged nerve to my hand." And it's only because probably blocked off circulation to it and got some nerve damage, and of course it repaired itself after 1 week. So this is The Great Contradiction, the movie.
Where else are you going to get this kind of entertainment, my friends? This is the ufology I dreamed of. Having fun, having a good time, just letting loose. Who gives a crap what people think? The button, 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 blowing up past enemies. He does it with his finger. Does it with his finger. Boop, 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 boop. Q-bird, boop, whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm gonna get my box inside of a box. Look how stupid you ufologists are. You'll believe anything. The Out There channel is saying that I called him a pedophile. He's saying that pedophile, pedophile.
And homo.
All I do
Doesn't like
is
gays
bully
either.
people. He's sending these messages. He's sending my show to Brandon. Brandon, look at Rich. Look how he attacks you. He called me a pedophile, which I never did, by the way. I would never call somebody
I got the
who's
evidence.
mentally challenged a pedophile because they wouldn't understand what they're doing. I would never do that. Yeah. Total liar. This guy is sick in the head. Like, honest to God, sick. Whole life, people said, you are so weird. I'm like, why am I weird? Isn't this weird? Where are we? What world is this? Am I even here?
Took
This is
ages
so
to
bizarre.
edit this.
So to speak. No, not going to do that to me.
He reminds me of those after school shows. You know, you go home and they're sort of playing, they're talking like they're talking to kids. This is how this guy talks. He talks to everybody like they're kids. It's like an after school thing. And he does all these little mockeries of the voice changes and makes a little story up about Skinwalker Ranch was his latest one. Maybe I'll play a clip of it so you can see what I mean. It's like watching like after school show. Not sure if I could be able to find it or not, but we'll have a quick look later maybe.
I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do a gosh darn thing wrong. Not a thing.
He lied about me and he called me a pedo and writing, and he didn't delete the comments where people were mimicking what he was saying in the comments and attacking me. Because I would reply and then they would attack me. Say that I was a pedo because I work with or associate with MUFON investigators, which is just crap.
I'm going to prove it. I'm going to go into, let's see how much of a dick I really was. Let's see if I really was a dick. I'm rich, but that ain't cool. You can't compare Brandon Fugel to a pedophile? Yes, I can. 100% and did and will. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. I can't handle his voice. I really don't like the guy's voice. You know why? Because all I hear is pedophile, crook, liar, pedophile, pedophile, pedophile.
So this proves that he likes calling people pedophiles, right? This is why I put this in here. And when he prayed X, when he was associating a pedophile person, that's convicted pedophile, with Brandon, he just made up this little story afterwards saying, I can say it if I want to, you know, and of course he does. He said it to, he made up a little story with Cambian, making the association story, and he called me outright a pedo, so he just loves doing that.
That's all I hear. I can't look at the guy.
You know why? It's because anyone that sort of exposes the fraud, especially the people that he likes, third phase of the ring, and anyone that sort of attacks them, he will start attacking them, calling them names.
I believe Trump is still going to be president when it's all said and done. When Bidophile becomes officially the president, we will have a very well-known pedo in the house that flies around children, right? Isn't this the guy? He flies around children, gives them the first airplane ride of their lives, but also flies airplanes around so people can have sex in the sky. Sex parties at 35,000 feet. Somehow I see those two mixing up and just, I don't know, call it what you want, but that falls very close to a PEDO shit. Just file that under PEDO in the file. You know what I'm saying? I watch this guy and I get the creeps. Just the creeps, so I want to play it again. Just creepy.
So he's calling the GUFON the new CEO.
Well, now the Out There channel says I called him a pedophile, and he says, you have a link? Hey, I never said that. I don't stoop that low. That's the whole thing. I don't stoop that low. I don't do that. It's bad. It's wrong. And that's one thing I think they don't give me any credit for, is that I always try to do the right thing. Even though I'm speaking my mind and you don't like the way I do it, well, I don't like the way you do it, but I'm not attacking you.
So his fans.
I'm not attacking them. I'm just commenting about the comments. I don't say you're a freaking idiot. I would never call anybody a pedo. It's just not my style.
And I just played lots of clips.
And if I did, zoom by when I'm live. I've got people upstairs, they step on my head. People downstairs.
Yeah, you get the idea. That goes on a fair while, but I put my comments in between each clip and some effects on top. So yeah, if you've not seen it, GUFON. The guy is able to convince people for some reason that I said this and he didn't say that, and instead of going and checking up on the facts themselves, I spelt contradiction wrong, obviously, on purpose, because I do make a lot of typos because of my eyesight, but this time it's actually correct spelling for the movie. He didn't try to get it taken down, by the way. Randy Depp, hello. You're not one of these sex spammers, are you? Because I'm pretty sure the last one I had said that as well. But yeah, what can you do? All you can say is this guy's lying. Here's the proof I got. He said this, and yet no one. How many people looked at that? Probably not many.
Start this now.
Let me just have a look. Only 477 and only 28 liked it, right? So what can you do? You know, you can't educate people. They don't want to know. Turn a blind eye, same as Google did. Okay. And of course, I do go on about it because this guy's going to forever be coming back on, circling on this stuff time and time again. He's trying to move on, but he'll come across someone and cause another fight and start name calling again. He might even slip up and say a pedo or the pedo association again. So let's go back to what Steve was listing off.
About me, a guy who has wife and children, a stand-up member of the community, who, by the way, I also volunteer for children's charities, you dumbass.
Because you could be friends, Stephen, with a pedophile. You know? What does that make you? A pedophile?
So could he? He could be friends with a pedophile and not know. Especially if he's working with all those frauds out there and they got no moral understanding apart from money, sex and drugs.
Maybe it does.
And I'm sorry, but the analogy, excusers, it doesn't, no. He claims he used that analogy because I said if he hangs out with hoaxers, that makes him a hoaxer too. I never said that. I said if he works for them and constantly defends their fraudery, fakery, and bullshittery, that impedes his reputation. And no one can argue with that. And the fact...
Yeah, but also, once a hoaxer, always a hoaxer, right, guys? But what Steve said there was absolutely correct. And he actually did hoax something as well. He hoaxed, which is in the movie, an orb, a ghost orb on the screen. He left the table, and this red dot, laser dot, showed up on on screen while he's off camera. And then he comes back with this EVP recorder. Often they have a button that turns on a hidden laser, so you can actually point to things in the dark. So he could probably deny that he knew that it existed, that button combination, but he was obviously carrying that around in his hand, turned it on, and it was going on the green screen, which would show up on the video as a red dot on the background. And as he comes on, you can see him. The angle of where he's aiming is where the dot is on the thing. So if he did that on purpose, we don't know. He's that stupid enough to absolutely not know that he did that himself. So he actually did lots of videos after that saying, oh look, when I was away, people noticed this orb UFO. So to me that means he was a hoaxer, in my book. Yeah, and never ever come clean. Oh right, it may have been my fault. There is actually a LED that lights up like a laser on this device. But the way he sort of put it under the table, trying to hide it when he came back, was really strange. So I think he probably knew he was doing it, and seeing anyone would be conned by it.
Back to Rich, he just spent 2 days putting Jeremy Corbell on blast.
You got to remember, he's been talking about all these paranormal events in his house prior. It's talking about the spoon that kept falling off the bench and disappearing and stuff like that. Then he does this spirit board live, which is a crazy thing to do in the first place. I'm not even sure if he closed it off properly. You have to say closing the session, don't you, and goodbye, to make sure that the portal is closed, the interdimensional portal. That's what those spirit board readers say anyway. You got to do things properly, but they reckon you should never play around with it because of that fact. But yeah, if he opens up a portal and has lots of demons coming to his house, I don't care about that too much. Even if we see it online, that would be quite funny. If you see him being lifted up in his chair, strangling like on a Darth Vader movie, that would be quite cool to see. But anyway.
Saying that he's lying and faking shit. First of all, there's no proof yet that Jeremy Corbell actually lied and faked shit. He could have done some research and proved it by calling the military and saying, have you guys been shooting at UFOs every day for weeks now? Or whatever Corbell said. He didn't do any research. He just went and did the Rambling Rich Act, where he's going to just tell you he lied without proving he lied. Yeah. And where is Rich? Does he have the moral high ground? That's what my point is.
No.
My point to him was, if you're going to hang out with Third Phase and constantly defend them and work for them, you don't have the moral high ground to call other people liars or fakers. That's what I said. I didn't say, if you hang out with hoaxers, that makes you a hoaxer too. Never said that. Never.
However, they're frauds, and hanging out with frauds and promoting frauds does make you a fraud. But not a hoaxer. Hoaxer is one that actually makes the fake videos, right? Fraud is a broader term, and that leads into deception of promoting the hoax videos. But he has actually promoted some of the videos on his show which were CGI and hoaxes. So does that make him a hoaxer? Because he's saying, wow, it does look like a real UFO, and not actually debunking it. So does it make it a hoaxer in that respect? Shut down, I had to reboot. Alright, I was asking you if you're one of these sex trolls that I've been having lately that have been posting comments, and Google always deletes them. Because you got the name Randy, you see. So, yeah, you're here for the UFO topic, Randy? I think we still got Mr. G. He's still around, I think. But I'm not sure. Because the stats here say there's only one watching, when there might be three.
let's get back to the rest of the lies. We'll put my fair use banner down as well. All right.
Yeah, was it only say one's
Number
watching
6.
though?
He lied and clickbaited people, saying that I was a hoaxer in his video title to cheat views and clickbait people to click on his video. He will not prove that I ever hoaxed anything. He can't prove that because that is a bold-faced lie strictly designed to discredit me. He wants to turn people against me and save face while he and his garbage peddling employers keep making more and more money peddling all this fake shit.
Okay, so he was calling Steve a hoaxer because he had this idea that he's a hoaxer debunker because he lied about Third Phase not getting permission on that video. So how's that become a hoaxer though? You could say Steve is a liar or fact twister, but not a hoaxer, because that's not hoaxing. Maybe some other better words there I can't think of, but still, Steve's again correct. And yet people believe GUFON still. That you'll see in a minute something else happened, which we'll play after this, that proves that he's willing to give new frauds a second chance, and I'll play that clip in a minute. It also proves that these new people that sort of ended up on all these shows trying to promote themselves all say fake stuff, and that's coming up. And another thing that pisses me off, and I said from day one, this guy's very suspect. And there was one video that GUFON put up which I thought I've seen before on UFO Lou's videos, which was a flock of birds at a triangle formation, and it looked like it had been edited. So I think this guy, which we're going to talk about next, has been doing that for a while. And he just got caught out on one, but no one's looked at all the other videos. If you go back far enough in years, like 10 years or whatever, you may pick up something that no one remembers seeing, you know, or maybe no one's actually posted it before, maybe because it was insignificant. And you can zoom in, crop it, and pretend that you're filming it, and when it's someone else's work. So we'll go over that next.
Trying to discredit their critics is what they do. They've done it before, and they're going to do it again. So, no, and you know, listen, this is absolutely manipulation of the audience. This is clickbait garbage. But you know what? He learned it from the best. How do you clickbait? How do you manipulate people into clicking on your video so that you could get more views? Remember, he was busting my balls that I had lower views than him. I don't do shit like this. And I've noticed he does this constantly. He tweaks the video. He puts out one, you know, title. This was the original title, I believe, right? Watch GUFON Live.
I wish he would get rid of that music, though.
I'm sorry, review of Skinwalker Ranch. Episode 4, UFO Vortexes. And then it says, lying debunkers worse than hoaxers. Then he changed it to say...
Wow, 34. Yeah, most people that follow me are 40 plus, so we don't really get youngers here. Is 34 young now? Mr. G's talking about his age here. I think you become less gullible once you hit over 30, though. Look at all the things though, I was called out also on videos. Now I look back and feel embarrassed, like I was saying at the beginning. We do, if you're willing to be open-minded and keep on learning, eventually, if you watch the right people, you can learn stuff that you didn't even really understand, you know, like camera artifacts, which I've tried to break down technically into lay terms as easy as I could to explain it. So people can watch those old live shows I've done But yeah, the more you understand of the technology and the flaws, and eventually those flaws will go away with the technology getting better, and maybe get rid of glass lenses and all that sort of stuff. In the past, they used plastic lenses of all things, you know. Not a really good idea. Yeah, so as we get the term "get old and wise" does actually apply. It's amazing how many 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds I've had insult me over Tyler, saying leave him alone, he's a nice guy. But fraudsters are nice guys. And of course they have to be nice guys because they want to bring you into their world and be a good storyteller and be good with words. I've never said I was good for words and a good host. I've had to get better as the years have gone on, and I used to hate hearing my voice. Now I sort of got used to it. Because when you listen to your own voice, it's deeper in your head than it sounds on the microphone. But Stephen's got the music here a wee bit too loud, but we'll just finish what he's saying.
Say this. Review of Skinwalker Ranch UFO vortexes. Truth Seekers is a hoaxer. That's what he did. He put that in his title, and I didn't tell him I was going to strike his channel, but I did tell him that could be another community guideline strike, putting that in your title. If you can't indeed prove that I ever hoaxed anything, and he can't. The closest he could come is to lie and say that I hosted a hoaxer in the form of Anjali. I stand by what we did with Anjali. We actually investigated her story, and it's largely because of me and a few other researchers that we know she faked a lot of her story.
That's understandable. Get a guest on the show that you don't trust and interrogate them and be nice to them, I suppose, else they go away. Else you wouldn't be able to hear too much of them, you see. So that I can understand. But in the end, he did actually summarise it up and then decide that she was actually a hoaxer. So that's fair enough.
But this right here is what we can expect from Rambling Rich. He's going to do anything he can to try to get people to click on his videos because he's an intellectual weakling and a coward. He can't argue with me with facts and evidence. And, you know, honestly, I feel sorry for him because he's not smart enough to do this with me. He's just not smart enough to do this with me. But he's going to keep trying, right? Keep on trying, Rich. Terrible thing to call somebody a hoaxer with no evidence or no proof. Why? Because I called his employers hoaxers. With evidence and with proof. See, there's the difference.
His employers are being said phase there. Hey, Tommy T, it's good to join us. Do you guys want to come on the side chat and have a say about all this stuff in ufology at the moment? Yeah, you did a good job on Angelia, whatever her name is. Now, personally, I think it's possible that she could have seen something and no one else did, because I've had that happen to me. So, on that fact alone, I can't say that she's a liar. But when she was telling the whole story to Fade to Black, and I heard enough of it, probably only 10 minutes of it, and I thought, I just can't listen to any more of this BS. She was talking about she was in a wheelchair, I think it was, and she had a smartphone, and she was using the smartphone for a light. Yeah, it doesn't sound right, does it? The battery wouldn't last too long on that either. And she didn't do any video recording that she had a smartphone. Didn't take any snapshots before the battery ran out. Strange. Yeah, you wouldn't go to a creepy old tunnel in a wheelchair where it could collapse in on you because you're not sure about the beam work. The whole thing sounded so fishy. Normally you wouldn't even go alone. I think she was alone as well. Turns out there is no tunnels on that guy's ranch in the end. And the owner of the ranch or the property said she was lying, so I think that sort of sums it up, doesn't it? At times she had lots of makeup on to try and make herself look pretty too. When you saw sometimes later on that she really looked like she hadn't slept and she looked really bad, it's kind of suggested to me that she may have a mental problem or a drug problem. She says she might have been doing weed, but there's lots of articles out now, reports, studies from different countries that say certain people with certain DNA will have hallucinations with weed. Doesn't do it to everybody, but it does it to like 1% of the population or something. And she might be that 1%er, right? And she might be puffing on the weed and hearing voices in her head. So, unless you're totally drug-free, it's a bit hard to believe someone. And with the how much drugs are legal now in America, especially the weed, how many more mass shootings is it going to be? How many more crazy ufology people are there going to be? You know what I mean? I know like probably 50% of New Zealanders smoke it. And over 50% disagree with it because they know it makes it psychotic. And the studies prove it, But, of course, you don't want young kids get into that and becoming psychotic and not learning and lashing out. You know how we get as teenagers. We don't like being told what to do. You sort of have to work through that period. You get knuckled down until you can get the right age to leave home and make your own money if you want to, or just understand how people work. That's basically what I did. I studied people a lot and my emotions to what other people were saying on TV and all that sort of stuff, and I thought, yeah, I can understand. It's a whole learning experience. And strong oil, that's what they use in e-cigarettes, isn't it? Strong oil. She was also on 5 to 6 medications. Yeah, that's right. And you don't know what interactions there are between them. Tommy, it was super strong. Strong oil. She took. Have a puff. Okay. Well, I never ever wanted to do drugs. I know what it smelled like. I had people around me that smoked it, and I didn't like it too much. I suppose it did affect me, as a standby. Mostly it would make your eyes stings, I thought. Stingy eyes or red eyes. Yeah, I didn't like the smell of it at all. The guy that committed suicide, he was heavy into that, just like GUFON with his buds and all that, and we had to seal the upstairs emergency exit because it was coming down into the house like a fog. So he was like running his own business, a car groomer, and he's the guy that committed suicide, which I believe now haunts us, comes and goes. I've now got another camera set up in the bedroom at the moment, see if I can capture something. Lately the hall light's been turning on and off, and then it turns off and stays off randomly, and I want to capture that on camera. But I got another one coming, which is like a light bulb you screw into the ceiling, and it's actually got a hidden camera in it, and a fisheye lens, so you can see all around 360. So I'm going to give that one a try. About $30 odd New Zealand, which it's like about $20 American. Don't know how good quality it's going to be, but it looks alright on the images. They're not these full-blown security cameras with the full streaming options to fit in with a proper security system. They're pretty cheap and nasty, and they're trying to force people to use the apps and the cloud server, which they want to charge you a monthly fee for. And I thought, nah, that's not real security cameras. Real security cameras have the open streaming software on there, the standard streaming software that control it from any other software. If it's closed off, then not worth buying. But the ones that you got to pay that has all that, normally quite more expensive, of course. And people go for the cheap cameras. Yeah, so weed oil. Where the aliens were seeded here. Where's the aliens? Yeah, aliens. Where are the aliens lately? That's a good question. The cloud came from aliens. What cloud? Reverse engineering. Well, the majority of this current thinking is coming from intervention through multi-universe. So connecting through multi-dimension through a tunnel which connects the universes. Pretty much the thinking is at the moment. And that's what I concluded too before other people started joining in. Other people are still saying it could be from distant planets and they're using wormholes. But I think it's a wee bit more crazy than that. Although it's possible that they could jump into a wormhole, which is into the fourth dimension, to do it, and then it pops out into our reality or times. But we're moving through space at such a fast speed. How can they lock on to us while they're going through the wormhole? The time they go to the spot where they're locked on, they would have to be bending through space with the movement of the planet. Because we're going at 500,000 miles per hour through space. That's a fair distance we're moving. So yes, how does that sort of work? I think you'd have to create a wormhole close to the planet and then use conventional engines from that point onwards to enter the atmosphere. I think, but that's not what we've been seeing or hearing. We've been hearing that the people that seen these portals open up in the atmosphere, and all the UFOs I was seeing moving in the hole, like it's on another planet, or coming through the hole or entering the hole. There's been lots of eyewitness accounts of like that, which sounds like it's not really like a wormhole, because we're moving through space all the time. So how do they maintain the connection? We're talking about some really clever, far out there technology then. And it sort of dismisses the idea that we've figured it out in black ops and been travelling to other planets using it. But then again, if we've got hypersonic speeds now in atmosphere, then you should be able to get super hypersonic. I don't know which the next level is. Super hypersonics in space. So you should be able to change that year between, go from Earth to Mars, whatever it is, down to maybe a couple of hours travel through space. But then you're going to have some sort of shielding as well. So all these things come into play, right? You got the micro meteorites that's going to be impacted on your window, like a truck passing your car that spits up a stone onto your window, right? And it doesn't take much to get a crack on the window. So if you're traveling at super hypersonic speeds in space, using some new exotic engine, not quite light speed, how you know you're not going to pass through asteroids and blow up? You see what I mean? Ancient aliens are sexy, abducted people who did stuff to their privates. Okay, I'll just hide that message. Yeah, I was just saying before, the sex trolls are arriving here now. Like I said, if you want to come on the side chat and talk, I can set it up. If you want to talk about your own experiences. Emerson Pride show called Night Sky. Yeah, Oddly enough, I was going to mention that today. 10 parts. Was it Amazon that actually filmed it, or was it Netflix? I suppose it must have been Amazon one, was it? Yeah, it's a wee bit slow, I thought. Was that the guy that was from Bad? I'm not sure if that's the same guy. Can't remember now. But he was playing an old guy with dementia. Yeah, basically they digged underground, but like the Stargate series, wasn't it? And they found this, basically this ancient building underground, which actually is a jump room to another planet. So it's quite interesting. Go and watch it. It's not too bad. It's a wee bit slow though, but it is interesting. If you're into aliens and ancient alien stuff, you like it. Not saying that it is. Yeah, I'd give it probably, going by all the other crap that's on at the moment, I'd give it a good 6.5 out of 10, I'd say, at the moment. It did actually get a wee bit better as the episodes progressed. Anyway, we're still never going to get anywhere if I keep interrupting Steve.
That's right. All right, number 7. He lied and said I did a terrible job of interviewing Richard Doty because I didn't ask about the Benowitz case. Again, a bold-faced lie because he cited some time that Richard Doty just popped on for a few minutes with a friend of mine, Eric the Awakening Man, and that was after our first interview. Conveniently, he left out when he was talking shit on me, or forgot to tell everybody that while he was talking shit on me, that in my original interview with Doty, and by the way, that's in the description of this video, if you want to listen to that, you can clearly see that I asked many questions about that whole event. So he lied to everyone again, or at least attempted to alter history and facts to fit his narrative. What's his narrative? I'm a bad researcher. I'm a bad investigator.
Now, Richard Doty doesn't tell all lies. He mixes in truth with lies. It's a bit like what GUFON does. And there is some things that lined up with some what other people were saying. Like that they got ground-based lasers that would fire up into space to blind spy satellites and stuff like that. So that sort of made total sense. And people would see these beams of light thing that was coming from space when it was actually going upwards. What's the other things he said? TR3B is owls that have been reverse engineered through fixing the engine from a downed UFO. Which would make sense if you don't know how to rebuild the outside case, and it's too small anyway for humans. You want to scale it up, then you'd figure out that the strongest lightweight frame you could make, I suppose, which would probably be titanium, aluminium, and stick the engine in it. And if you can't build it as a half dome, what would the next best thing be? If you're going to build a retrofitted UFO, triangle makes sense because it would fit in the middle quite easily, with the outside being where you have the thrusters. Because maybe they can get it to reduce the weight, but they can't use it to figure out how to bend the gravitational field to make it move. So they stick thrusters on instead. So make it light and then just control it with the thrusters. But it might be another lie. Some truth mixed in with lies. So Richard Doty, as you know, was a bit evil, that he caused the guy to lose his mental status and committed suicide. Because the guy lived next to the Air Force Base and saw some of the experimental planes, right? And he convinced them that, right, yes, you're correct, they are UFOs and all this sort of stuff. Which is what they wanted him to say, rather than saying they're a US experimental craft, and here's a picture of one. They wanted him to go out there in the world and say, oh yeah, UFOs are visiting Air Force bases, and that's what the Russians would get to hear. But yeah, that's how disinformation works, right? And Richard is really good at disinformation. GUFON on this guy, especially.
I'm the bad guy here for pointing out that his buddies, third phase, are constantly faking shit. Number 8, he lied and claimed I hosted Anjali, who was a hoaxer. Wrong. I did host her, I investigated her, and with the help of some other researchers, I got that interview and proved that she was lying about most of her entire experience, and her original story was filled with lies, embellishments, inaccuracies, and fabrications. That was good work. He has no work like that because he doesn't investigate anything. All he does is shit talk other people and talk over everyone else's actual work. Why? Because he's rambling rich and he has no investigations of his own to share. None. Number 9, he lied and made excuses for them pretending to be in an entirely other country. Third phase. He lied and said a guy who faked terminal cancer was suddenly credible after he first put him on blast when he previously trashed that guy. You know, that was before third phase started making money off of a probable criminal and drug addict. He lied and made excuses for the TR3B video. And hey, I'm sure he's going to lie and make excuses for third phase for the 3 fake stories we've shown that they pushed tonight.
He did.
Number 10, he lied and said if I had been hoaxing anything these past few years, he wouldn't associate with them. He stood there on a webcam and a microphone and he said, if third phase had been hoaxing anything these past few years, I wouldn't associate with them. Now we're going to see...
Hey, Wesley. It's good for you to join us. Had anybody watched the new Mincho Cuckoo documentary, A Tear in the Sky? That's not his documentary. He's just a 5-minute talking head on it, which made no sense whatsoever. And for him to be on that documentary was pointless, the same as William Shatner. That was just rating score. Yeah, I've talked about Tear in the Sky before. I thought you would have caught what I summed up on it and looked at the video, UFOs in it. But obviously you missed it. And see if it's any good. It's so-so. A lot of stuff they were pointing out as UFOs to me looked like a weather balloon that had started losing some of the gas and started tumbling downwards, and then got smaller and smaller and disappeared. I suppose not all of them pop. Maybe they get little holes in it, or they get caught in a vortex wind of some kind and end up being spun around, and then they pop. It wasn't until the last part of the movie, 10 minutes or so, where they showed what looks like a circular hole in the clouds opening up slowly, although it wasn't particularly clear that it was a hole. It could have been clouds departing, because I don't know if I could see any stars through the hole that they were shown, but they may have had better evidence there than what was on the movie. Well, they may have cleaned it up and done some filter work on it to what they did in the movie, because the movie looked like it was like slammed together. They claimed it cost $1 million to make it, which I find ridiculous. When you could do that on YouTube with live streaming and borrow or hire the cameras. I suppose you could hire the cameras, or you could ask people around, we're doing this live event and we need the cameras, so could you lend us your camera? Have you got old cameras that you're not using anymore? Send it our way. You know, there's lots of ways you could do a thing like this Tear in the Sky did. In fact, I went to town on Twitter about it, and I got attacked by what was that guy named Altman, Dave Altman, saying how rude I was. Yeah, I just call a spade, right? And I call it how I see it. So they're saying that lines up with the Nimitz over the Catalina Islands there, that the portal opened up and hundreds of UFOs popped out through it. Well, they did have all these little bright objects suddenly appear through this hole. Did sort of match what was saying in the pilots. So, but that's all they got. And they didn't get any telephoto lens that zoomed in on one of the dots to see what we could see of it, anything like that. They didn't have that capabilities, I guess. But I would have thought a P1000 could have zoomed on those dots. So why weren't they doing that? I don't know. So there's a lot of questions to that movie. Why didn't they do this? Couldn't you got a better evidence to see what the dots were? Planes or UFOs or what? Or maybe it's just a group of seagulls that just happened to come through the clouds and were visible because the clouds parted. Who knows, you know? So, yeah, I think it's well worth watching it, though, by all means, but paying money to watch it, no, that sort of stuff should be free. It should be on YouTube, it should be paid by ads. I don't know if they've done that now, after they've tried to sell it. Decided now to make it SD version on YouTube, which should always happen. If you want to buy HD or higher, put your money here. But that's how I think anyway. You Paul, how's it going? Yeah, Strange says he's main can't no worries, give it a miss. Yeah, hunt around for it, you're bound to find a free copy to watch. That's all I'm saying. It's out there. Yeah, you just said the same thing. Free film. It's out there. And all Tyler's ones too. And you'll find that most people in ufology know how to find stuff. Because we research stuff. We know how to find stuff that we're not going to pay for. The people that have got no brains generally will buy it though. You know, the newcomers. I just think it's disgusting that even Skinwalker Ranch is not free to watch. You know, it's just stupid.
The excuses come. We're going to see play with words. Well, is it really a hoax what they did, or was it just a mistake and they're sorry they made a mistake? Next, he lied. And this is the most important part of this whole thing, this disagreement between the two of us. He lied and said, I started this. And no, the timeline is very clear, Rich. You lied to make things fit your narrative and gain sympathy, like I started this disagreement between the two of us. I didn't start any disagreement between the two of us. No. I had an argument with Third Phase Moon aliens on Alien Sciences channel. You weren't even there, and to the best of my recollection, I didn't even mention you. That was an argument between me and Third Phase of Moon, not you. That was May 19th. On May 22nd and May 23rd on your show, you put me on blast, making up all kinds of shit and making all kinds of excuses for Third Phase and blaming me. Your cavalcade of lies really did begin there, Rich. And I had an argument or disagreement with Third Phase May 19th. The timeline is very clear. You chose to get involved and put me on blast several days later.
That's because he's defending his mates, as he said. But they're his employers as well.
Chose to start this disagreement between the two of us. Before that, I would tell him to his face, I think you're doing more harm than good to yourself being involved with these people. But, you know, I did try to pull punches and not be, you know, nasty about it publicly to him. Because I figured he must really need the money to get involved with these Third Phase clowns and let them become his puppet overlords. You didn't have to put me on blast, Rich. You chose to do that. So no, Rich, you started this disagreement between us. It wasn't me. My disagreement was with Third Phase on May 19th. And on the 22nd and 23rd, you put me on blast. You attempted to paint me as the bad guy simply for pointing out that third phase peddles garbage, fake information, misinformation, hoaxes, and UFO fairy tales. And that's where we're at, and that's where I find myself, friends. So, I apologize if I missed any of the super chats. We'll check in with the super chats and the PayPal donators.
Okay, so that's the summary I must have missed, but he's put it up. And I saw it today, and I thought, oh, we'll play it and go through it. So I'll just copy it there if you want to listen to that again. Oh, what happened there? Exit full screen. Oh, something happened there. And I'll just zoom in a wee bit. Yeah. Steve 10 lies GUFON said. There we go. Now, this is what's come out since, is another UFO fraud. And I'll just play, see if I can cue that in the right place. But I think I'll play it from here and then maybe scroll back.
But in this case, you know,
33 minutes.
Now we all know what's going on. It is. Somebody tell Bob Marley.
Okay, so previously he just said that unidentified S4 has been caught faking videos, but he's going to give him a pass, and all his people in the side chat here want to give him a pass because unidentified S4 is a nice guy. And he admitted to it. So, yeah. To me, that doesn't make ufology any better. You can't give people passes. One strike and you're out in this field. It's not a 3-strike system. If you're caught 3 times, then you're gone. No, it's got to be gone once you've been caught out once. Because our field relies on truth and facts and not deception. So he's going to go on here and sum it up again a wee bit and add more to it like he normally does. But he said he wasn't going to make a big deal about it. And I thought, this is very strange. He cherry picks who he's going to attack and who he's going to keep as his friends. I saw this the other day. Chief Secret guy having some time off from YouTube due to health reasons. Yeah, my health hasn't been too good lately either. But yeah, you just got to keep fighting. What don't kill you makes you stronger, I guess. If I disappear, you probably know I died though. It has been that cases where I thought I was going to die that day, but where suddenly you can't breathe, which has been a strange one lately, where you can't get your breath back. But lately I've been getting better, and I'm not so wheezy anymore, and I don't smoke. So just carry on.
What he did, I already said it twice. But it is what it is. Hey, Ben Yorkshire, GUFOnian UK with a £2, £2 super dono. I don't know where the stickers are.
Are these people so stupid that they keep donating to him? Or these fake donators? So it'd be funny that we find out probably next year that someone paid all these donators money to donate to him to make it look good. So you never know.
And there's no comment. It's just pure love. That's a horrible. I shouldn't do. I just don't have it today. But thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Why do it?
I appreciate it. Mucho gusto, generoso. I'm just in thought. I see a certain amount of people that aren't here. not certain people that aren't here, which I find hilarious.
No,
No,
you
I'm
don't.
not talking about Anthony. I didn't expect him to be here tonight.
Okay, Anthony is the S4 guy. Now, he noticed that a lot of people weren't coming to his show to watch it. Not live anyway. But it looks like he's got the same amount of stats in the end, so maybe he was just imagining that they were staying away because of the fight with him and Cambian. I don't know.
It's other people. Thank you, Ben. I don't know, man. Oh, God, this field. That one
Exactly.
came out of nowhere, but
That's how
In
I
this
feel about
field-
this field.
we're going to have people make mistakes. God knows I've made enough of them.
Yeah, but faking a video is not a mistake, is it?
It all depends on how you handle it. And whether you believe Anthony or not about his apology, he still did it. He still went in front of the world we live in and poured his guts out. Now, for somebody to do that who has no history of any tomfoolery going on in the field, for somebody to come out as quickly as he did, you got to give him credit there. You cannot not give the guy credit.
You got to give a fraud credit for coming out and telling the truth. Good one. No wonder America court systems are crazy.
Trying. He's trying. He made a mistake. And if that was me, I don't know, man. If that was me, I'd want to hide too. I don't know, man. What he did wasn't easy. Absolutely not. Both ways. He said it was killing him inside because he knew. I feel bad. I feel bad for the guy. But Death Proof Bum 01 with the $5.
See, this makes no sense. You know, if you're going to be true for ufology, you don't give frauds a pass. You can't then have them on your show and showing off their videos that they're claiming they're capturing when it's someone else's. He did that last week with him. Remember that one with this birds or the butterflies? I thought it was butterflies myself, but I'm pretty sure I've seen that video before too. And then he showed the one with the flock of birds in a formation on a night vision camera. Has he even got a night vision camera? Is the question. That was from UFO Lou, I'm pretty sure. Going back, God, how many years now? 6 years at least. With Darren Grapo. Till the next time he fakes another. Exactly. That's one strike and you're out in this field. And people in the side chat here are saying, give him a chance, you know. Not sure if there's any there. See, he said it wasn't that bad. Mike how do you say his name? Root Todo. See, they're ready. These people are ready to give some people that hoax stuff a pass. No, can't work that way. Can't work like a normal prison system. Oh, they stole chewing gum when he was 12. Oh, he's now 20. He's not done that since, you know. Oh, yeah, we can give him a pass. He's changed. That you can give a pass on, probably. Oh, he parked illegally, or he went too fast in the school zone. Yeah, okay, we can give him a pass on that. He went, as long as he doesn't do it again. But yeah, often people do it again, right? Sometimes it's hard getting your speed down for a school zone. Sometimes it's just so slow. But Depends how well it's labelled too. But yeah, you got to be careful in any country with school sittings. You know, I've been guilty of speeding too, but not been caught, or I've been in a real hurry and you tend up with a lead foot and sometimes you miss a sign or whatever. But I've never ever been ticketed for speeding. I got a car parking fine for parking on a yellow line, which is only like a wee bit of a yellow line, like a couple of inches over. I had a little mini, you could park anywhere. Yeah, that's about all I've been done for. I used to clean banks, so I had to have a pretty clear security record, right? They do background checks, so you don't get into a bank with keys and passwords.
You explain the situation very well, Richie, and to add your jokes cracks me up. Well, I'm trying. I don't know what to do. The
people that I know can't stand 5 minutes of this guy, yet all these people think he's quite funny. There is occasionally he is funny when he makes his own mistakes and gets all up in the air about it all. That is funny, I guess. But he's not trying to be funny. Some of the clips he plays might be funny, but him funny? No, not really. Him mocking and pretending to be people, I suppose it could be funny sometimes. But it sort of gets old, that sort of humour, doesn't it?
It's a weird situation. The whole thing, I still have questions, which I won't get into.
But if you're always making jokes in ufology, this is the problem that I have with it. It means you can't be a professional. Because if you're making jokes all the time, then it takes away the seriousness of the field and the research. Especially if he's been caught out with lies now with Cambian. Cambian's basically backed up what I said now, and we've documented it. So
answers to, because he's already answered. I just don't know why. Why
is he so concerned that this S4 is a hoax? He's now torn between morals and whether he should get rid of him and never ever have him on the show again, or should forgive him or not, like he did with Third Face.
Did he think it was going to go viral? Is that what? Was he hoping it'd go viral, and if he got caught, oh well? That's what I kind of feel. All right, it went viral. I got a couple hundred subs. Maybe he was hoping.
And I'm saying he's at least got 3 videos on there, which I was a bit suspect on that weren't his.
But on that, I mean, you got to think, why do that? Why? All right, so you didn't get it on video. Just tell everybody what you're doing. All right, I got a video here that looks very similar to what I could have captured. Check this out. You're not going to believe it. Mine did the same thing. Oh, I can't believe it.
Okay, so that's if you were an honest channel, you would have done that. So if a person not to do that means he's dishonest down to the core, from what I can understand. Because that's what I would have done. I says, I saw this. I'm going to draw a picture of it or something like that. And then if I find a video that's similar, I'll say, well, it's very similar to what I saw. Then that's how I would do it, because I'm honest. That bang on, Paul. You got to be serious for people to take you seriously. Yeah, and that's why I try to not joke around too much. But sometimes you got to have a laugh in this field at these people here, and laugh at your own mistakes, or you trick over words, or say words wrong, and it does sound funny. I laugh at myself. At my weaknesses. So yeah, so I don't mind people having a laugh as well. But when you get people come out purposely and put hateful comments on or hurtful comments on, saying, I can't stand your show, the music sucks, I can't stand 5 minutes of it. Because they haven't bothered really listening and watching the show in 5 minutes. In 5 minutes of my show, you're not going to get too much, are you? Because we tend to think a wee bit deeper here and think of theories and sort of break it down into lay terms, and also then we try to do the analysis in the same way. We try to keep it so people can understand what you're doing, and I try and talk through it. And sometimes I just want to prove it, but I just can't find the right information, as you know, and it gets really frustrating. And maybe a few days later you find something you're after, and then you can sort of bring it back up again as a recap and say, oh, look, I did find the information. But that's how it should work, you know. Even when I have guests on, I'm pretty easy going on them, and try to get them to repeat things or draw pictures or whatever. But that's how it should be. That's how it should be. You know, you shouldn't be too scared to come on a talk show and tell your experience if you're honest. If you're not honest, then you will be scared because you eventually will get caught out. But like these other people that we talked about just a minute ago, Angelia and all that.
Believe how exact this is. It looks just like mine. If he would have done that, we would have all been happy with it. There wouldn't have been this situation. And I didn't want to rip on.
Okay, so as I said, I don't always throw GUFON at the bus. Here he's actually correct what he's saying.
On the guy because I like Anthony. He's always a nice guy to me. He treats everybody with respect in the field. I haven't seen anything very disrespectful. Not saying that about his co-host, but on another note, for another day. But it's over, and I suggest try to move on. It is what it is, and that's that.
It's not
a field where you could just
game over, man.
Video and do that. Everybody seemed. I almost feel like
if that happened to Tyler, right? The first video he brought out was that fake leaker interview with the guy that was meant to be like a Bob Lazar guy, which didn't say his name, but he did say he was from there, and S4 and all that sort of stuff. And people called out Tyler at the time. And so eventually he deleted it, right? Once he got enough money off it. And thought, oh yeah, it's not enough, it's getting too much bad negative press now, I'll delete it. Then he started putting up clips from documentaries and stuff like that, which he's deleted lots of those now, and a lot of dodgy photoshops and CGIs, which we were suspect that he was behind it. Well, I come after he deleted loads of them, because his first year really had only about a handful of videos on. I thought, that's really strange. So I come on a wee bit too late to see what was really going on. But other people noticed. So why didn't Tyler get called out, exposed on even third phase? First phase could have exposed it, right? Oh, Tyler, a new person in the field has been caught faking it. That never happened, right? So they're meant to be like the number one UFO news. So if you're number one UFO news, you're going to report people that are faking stuff because it's big news, right?
Really, I do. In a way, I feel like this was a test that he was paid to give us. No, I don't know, man. It's just so out of left field. All right. Thank you, DeathProofBum01, for the $5 super chat. Mucho gusto, generoso. Thank you very much.
Well, Steve said he's on the payroll, so he gets paid by them every week for doing the third phase extra channel, right? Which they left for him to do, and they'd pay him for each video he put up. So if it got 40,000 views, 3 ads in it or 4 ads in it, then he might make $50 from it, 30 to $50 in it, which ain't much. But if you put one a day up, that sort of adds up, right? You got $50 times 5, that's $250 US dollars, which is equivalent to about $400 my money, which is like a week's pay. Minimum wage that we currently get. In fact, I'm a bit surprised the government's probably boosted me up another $100 a week. So it was much needed. But yeah, it's making it really hard to run the channel on so little money and pay for living costs, you know. So yeah, this guy gets a lot of donations, which is very suspect. When you watch all other UFO channels out there, he's the one that seems to be getting the most donations, and big ones at that. Sometimes someone will give him $300 or $350s in a row and stuff like that, which is really suspect in my book. Tyler didn't even get that much at times, but he did actually get a couple $100 donations. And in the end he made $1,000. So I suppose in the end, Tyler, because of the amount of people joining the side chat, he was getting more donations, but they were smaller, but it all adds up to a lot of money. So I don't know why Tyler doesn't do more live shows, because I don't think he can. I don't think he's that smart enough that he can do a show like I do and just wing it by ear. Because if you're a bullshitter, you're going to get caught out in the lies, right? The more lies you tell, the more likely you're going to get caught out. And I think that's what happens with a lot of people in the end. Third Face got caught out. GUFON's been caught out. Tyler's been caught out. Who else has been caught out? Mr. MBB with his fake Tic Tacs, which turned out to be planes. He's been caught out. So, and of course, his really horrible filtering that he uses to say there were motherships when it was just a cloud that's been filtered so badly it looks like a UFO. Let's just carry on.
Continuing supporter of GUFON.
And of course, Dr. Greer is another big player that's been caught out on lies. Who else? Corey Good's another big one, and we've got Wilcock. There's probably a few out there, you know.
I can't imagine what he feels.
And UFO
Awful,
Man was another one.
Awful. But we got to move on. I don't know what else to tell you guys. It happens. You know, I got this tetanus shot. Tetanus, I did it again. I got tested for TB 2 weeks ago almost. Wait, yeah, 2 weeks ago. And the red dot, now I put a Band-Aid over it with Neosporin, and it made it really red and worse. But I don't know if he says
anymore now.
Needs a hero desperately.
He's saying ufology needs a villain and a hero. The hero being Lou, and the villain being Third Phase, I suppose. I don't know.
There's a lot of shit going on, guys, behind the scenes, and we're not hearing about it. You know what I mean? I want to know what's going on around the world. We're not seeing much shit going on. I know Lou is going to Brazil, right, to talk to Congress in a month.
It's very quiet in the UFO field at the moment, apart from all the drama and the fakes that are being put up lately, and recycled crap, of course. Third Phase are doing it, and now Tyler is. So yeah, if we go back to what he was doing yesterday, maybe I said he's like a children's host. Is this yesterday's though? where he was pretending to be like a storytelling of random figure. It might be on this one actually. Let's just see.
To advance society's imagination.
So that's correct. He keeps playing this guy too, the crop circle dude, the crop circle hippie. Is this the one with Skinwalker Ranch? No, it's not. Let me just find it. Look, he's promoting that now. Is that the latest one out? Is it the interview with Kevin Day? Yeah, look. So, if it wasn't for a third face giving him material all the time, he wouldn't have a show, right? Where's Skinwalker Ranch one? Has he renamed it? Oh, here it is, here. Look, you'll see what I mean. You see what I mean. It's like one of these after school children presenters, you know. We have them in New Zealand and a bit other countries. Where he's pretending to be someone.
So this happens every week.
Okay, let's just get that.
I'm going to go through it and show you frame by frame because I watched it. You know, we can talk about what we're looking at.
Okay, this is a Skinwalker Ranch comedy
here it is.
bit.
They called this one Episode 5, Season 3, Digging Up...
Now, you compare this view of it with my analysis of the UFO clip in it. There's no comparison whatsoever. Mine's like seriously seeing if this is a UFO or something that's been misidentified, and his is... Let's just take a mocko of Brandon Fuggerall gang and the Skinwalker Ranch scientists.
The past.
He recently slights, I'd like Astro Citizen, who is Lions Ground, by the way, to take down third face like he did with Tyler. But he didn't take down Tyler. Tyler paid him off, and he gave him the logo back, and he got to keep his channel. He didn't take it down. He did it as a stunt for money. So I can see from it, he should have taken them down completely, and then Tyler could have come back with a new channel like it should happen. It shouldn't be resumed from the old channel, because then you see how many gullible people will rejoin and follow him and didn't bother doing background check on him, which is quite a lot. It's about 20,000 people. Third phase, I don't think you can take out these guys. Honestly, this is what I'm saying. This is why I titled my title as Can We Save Ufology? And basically I don't think we can. I think ufology's gone to the frauds now, and it's only me really pointing it out all the time, and no one's listening to me, you know. Even my last video on BNT only got like 50 views, and normally I get a couple hundred. So, you know, what's the point, you know, of pointing out that this is not a UFO on this TV show if no one's going to listen? It's disheartening, and these guys are obviously going to be around for another 50 years until they die, right? How long will they last on YouTube? Another 10 years? Would YouTube die? You see what I mean? Eventually time will sort it out. But will there be another bunch of grifters like this S4 guy coming in? All these newcomers that are sort of replicating what Third Phase is doing because they see how much money they're making. So it'll never end. It'll always be these people on YouTube saying make up your own mind and claiming that's a UFO in that clip when it's not. It's never going to end. I do enjoy a good old UFO drama at times. Despite what Lions Ground did, it was useful, but the end result wasn't useful. It's a bit like when he went to the Sun and reported on Tyler then, it ended up being YouTuber versus YouTuber, claiming one's a faker, and it was just sort of made a mockery of and dismissed, right? But yeah, he's rebranded himself as another channel because Lions Ground got such a bad name. Why else would you rebrand? And it doesn't matter if you rebrand or not. Google has your voice print. It doesn't matter what you're going to do on YouTube. You're going to have to hire someone else to be your host if you want to run a new YouTube channel and be the editor of it. You're just stuffed. You're going to have to use alt media and build it up, and hopefully the tools will be the same as on YouTube eventually on the other platforms, that there'll be more people on them because they got fed up with YouTube. But again, it's going to take a lot of time to do that. So ufology is pretty much stuffed with people like GUFON, probably for the next 10 years at least.
Former NIDS employee, retired Army Colonel John Alexander, visits the ranch, and after the Skinwalker team repeat an experiment that he indicates may have opened a portal, they receive a mysterious... Hold on. A mysterious what? Mysterious signal that appears to be an attempt to communicate. Wow. Can you believe these guys? They now may have opened a portal to communicate with aliens. It's just getting better at Skinwalker. Doesn't get any better. You know, they're really trying hard.
I thought it was one of the more boring episodes because they're talking about old stuff that we've already heard already from John Alexander, saying how they had paranormal events and strangeness happening. But he starts on doing a story, right? It makes him look like this after-school host.
You asked him, do you have any stories? And he goes, oh, I wouldn't know where to begin.
So he starts off normally, and then eventually he gets into the mood to make a mockery of it, and we'll just move on.
Travis says, we don't understand, but this lid is sideways a little bit tough. Huh! Now, we just walked upon a lid that happened to be off its marker. Now, I'm not saying it's shadow people, but it ain't one of us. Something real strange going on here.
I think this is what his fans like him doing, these mockeries. And really, he should just do a channel where he gets a TV show on UFOs or paranormal and impersonates the people's voices and makes up a slightly different storyline to what was made. And I think that would be very popular. That's what people like about GUFON, I'm pretty sure. It's not that he's factual on UFOs and honest, because he clearly isn't. What happened to that girl that donated like $500 to him one show? Remember, she was attacking me on Twitter. What was her name? Some Italian girl. I haven't seen her on his show lately donating. So maybe she's wised up and actually listened to some of my videos and realised that I was correct in the first place. That this guy is just a liar. Maybe she's seen the Cambian stuff now.
At the ranch. And Fugel's coming back. Why is he coming back? Everybody get in line. Yes, Zeke Fugel. I'm not him. So they put the lid back on. Now, I don't know how that happened. Do you know how that happened? I don't know. What do you think happened? Nobody knows what happens. And if I
remember right, last season they actually did move that lid, and it looked like it was in the same place of what they left it. You'd have to go back an episode and find where they moved it. Maybe they were showing someone around. So I reckon they forgot to put the lid on. Because I don't think they would add a prowler there, surely, moving a lid where they know there's radon gas being leaked out of it. It gives you burn marks.
found out about it, it would have been lights out for one of us. And it ain't gonna be me. So I told Fugel before anybody saw, Before anybody else got to him, I covered my own ass. He didn't like that, and he beat me anyway. I got 10 lashes across my ass, and now I won't be able to sit for a month. I love it here.
So that's how you make friends with Brandon Frugal and try and get him on to interview him. Nope, that doesn't work, does it? I actually have asked Brandon whether he'd come on here and do a show with me, but I never got any reply. Which is a bit of a shame, because I would have asked him harder questions than what the rest of the people have so far. And wasn't he meant to make up a website with making all the evidence available? That hasn't happened, as far as I know, still. You know, how much money does it take to knock up a website and get someone to do it for you? It probably costs you a few $100s to hire someone and $10 a month on hosting. I'm pretty sure a billionaire can afford that and write it off as a tax thing or something to do with the TV show at least.
Here at Skinwalker Ranch. Zeke Fugel! And then you find out Dragon really is the alien. Why do you think they call me Dragon? You know, and he changes and morphs and eats everybody. This happened to Bigelow's boys. Now it...
So it's like listening to one of those after-school shows where the guy's reading out one of the books or something, you know. But instead of looking at someone mimicking the voices, you're actually looking at the pictures. I said to him he would be good to make kids' stories and do that before he went anti-me. I said, you should be good. You'll be good at doing that because you're good at doing the voices. And obviously he didn't listen to me. He's still doing it on UFO shows, trying to be a professional show, talking like this.
What's going to happen to you? Yeah, this is bullshit.
Exactly. And on that note, I'll leave it there. This is bullshit. So yeah, if you want to go and check him out, you can. But I don't like to promote people in the side chat that I don't really like. So Finn is another one that attacked me a few years ago. But I kind of like the guy. You know, I've sort of forgiven him what he said about me. But he puts out some good videos from time to time talking about gullible people and also talking about UFO fields. How broken it is. So we'll just play some of it.
I posted about gullible analysis of UFO videos and why it can be so damaging. When you think about the general skeptical take on UFOs, whether it be witnesses, videos, government treatment of the subject, the general take is that it's just gullible analysis, as Mick West calls it. It's a good way of summing up what the skeptics pretty much believe. That they can see through these reports, but the guy that was there who's saying it happened couldn't work it out. It's basically that even the most honest witness is just being a bit gullible, or in some cases just the unfortunate victim of blind spots in human perception. But I think in general, when you step back, it's pretty clear that it's more about being gullible than anything else.
And this is the problem I have too with if you got Third Phase that's been like your #1 UFO reporting channel and talking garbage of what it actually is in the video, what it isn't is like, oh, this is not a balloon when it turns out to be a balloon. These witnesses that he's talking about here, Finn, never going to be any more wiser or cleverer to be able to skeptical and analyse what they've seen in the sky or on their cameras before they submit it to MUFON. But they could always ask for a second opinion. You could say, oh, I think it's a balloon. Would you mind having a look and see if you think it's something different? You know, I'm available for that if people want that second look at it, I will do it. But a lot of people out there get really upset when you tell them what it really is, and they want to believe it's a UFO they captured. Why, I don't know. Maybe they wanted to sell it later or something, I don't know. But a lot of people do get upset when you debunk their video. And we've got to get past that.
Because in some cases, the witnesses have all the chances in the world to correct this blind spot in perception, to work out how they might be wrong. And we can see that in how some video misidentifications are made, how an aircraft in the distance can look a bit like an orb, and as it gets closer on camera, because from a distance the camera can only resolve the one light source, but as the aircraft gets closer and appears to increase in size, that single light source appears to split. Now we can see two lights, and sometimes then three. And the person making the video will often claim, well, that's just, it was a UFO that now is faking being an aircraft. Closer, just
okay, so that's the other problem we have in ufology. Even if you say it's a plane, they'll say aliens are clever, they're cloaking our technology. You can't win.
To look like an aircraft, so that it could get away with getting closer to me while I'm filming it. We've all seen them, videos of Chinese lanterns or skydivers with flares on their ankles, and the witnesses, while they're filming, sound like they're having a genuinely life-changing encounter.
Oh, it's breaking up! Oh, it's 6, it's 8, it's 9! Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Look at that! Oh, look!
That's
look,
hilarious.
Look at that. They stop! Look at that shit! Those are aliens!
Sorry, I'm trying to record it.
Aliens! Aliens!
Yeah.
Aliens!
I think these skeptics look at that and they
have a good
draw
laugh.
conclusion from that what the misidentifications we see happening regularly on video is probably what's happening in one way or another to the unambiguous witnesses like myself who don't get any video. So in other words, when I claim to have seen two balls of light, one of which is changing shape, and then I pull over, and by the time I've turned back, they are now two black triangular shaped aircraft with navigation style lights in a pattern on the underside of each. I think the skeptics probably think, or I'm either making it up, or I had some kind of misidentification similar to those videos we see of people filming aircraft in the distance.
Now, Finn, we've talked about his own personal sighting. He was a taxi driver, and he saw the two triangles above his sister's house. But a week later, he saw them also over a bridge in another location. So he thought that maybe he had some sort of C5 connection because he was doing Dr. Greer type stuff, and he believed it worked. But then he talks about his mother. I think he talks about his mother. Maybe we can play a clip of his original story actually after this. He plays a clip of his mother who also saw UFOs land next to the house. So does that mean that maybe she's a contactee, abductee, and that's the only thing she remembers? It's possible. And of course it runs in the family then. So maybe those UFOs coming back were actually aliens and not black hops after all. Who knows? Makes sense that the UFOs would be a bit more cunning now. Let's say, oh, the humans have captured 2 of our UFOs and they made them into triangles. Let's make some of our ships into triangles. That way they think it's their new ones that they've captured and not us. That would be like hiding in plain sight, right? This is the same scenario as they're turned into planes, right? Mimicking our technology. In fact, if you had memory metal, maybe you can actually tell it to bend from a sphere into other shapes. I don't know how that would be possible, but who knows? They might have that technology to do that. But it makes sense that they could easily mimic triangles that we've copied, reverse engineered or whatever. and we've got only a couple of them, and they fly around also in triangles. So who knows? There's another possibility, right?
That look like an orb, and then as it gets closer, they think it's changed into a black triangle or a UFO with more lights on it, or just an aircraft with more lights on it. We've seen the same thing recently with videos of what could be birds, but because they're flying around in a strange pattern, and sometimes they look like they might be going too fast to be birds, the conclusion is jumped to that, wow, this is one of those cases of UFOs performing impossibly fast maneuvers. The issue is that when the video is actually quite ambiguous and it could still be birds, the more excited the people in this field become, those journalists involved or ufologists who get behind such a case, the more excited they become, the more it quite legitimately affect their credibility. Does this mean that if they get excited...
So he's talking about confirmation bias sitting in, right?
About videos like that, which could be birds, they're also bringing forth witnesses who are probably seeing birds and aircraft. In other words, is it all just gullible analysis? A perfect storm of gullible analysis? All the most gullible witnesses on the planet coming together and creating this illusion of completely unambiguous craft doing things that are absolutely impossible. There's a humility that's required in this subject, so that we don't...
Should always stay in the middle, even after you've done your conclusion, ready to accept new information to change your conclusion. The Turkish video event was one of them. Remember, of the aliens? And we all believed they were aliens until more information came to light of the type of camera and how it was done. And then new information about how you get internal camera reflections from ill-fitting optics and stuff, which is what happened on that particular camera. Tells me he was also standing next to a well-known South American hoaxer. So in one of the photographs where he's got the camera, so it kind of sort of added that maybe he knew his hoaxing stuff and he was telling the guy how he was doing it. You know, how you could stand there and have anyone look for it and it's there and you can see the aliens, right? If you had enough light source going into the telephoto at the time and illuminated the screw heads. So even Dr. Lear got caught out in that, but fair enough, you know, we all did. But at least I was ready to keep an open mind and wait for new facts to come in and then revisit that particular case, and then I changed my opinion completely. And then I thought, oh, how does it all fit together? And so I put out that video showing how I could overlay the parts of the camera that overlaid the holes, the strange holes it had, and how it would get clipped. And I did my best to explain it to other people so they could understand how it was working. So yeah, you always got to keep that confirmation bias away, even though we'd like to see aliens and real UFO videos.
End up looking more gullible than we already look. One of the most important things that you can do for this subject, if you've got any kind of skills in that area, whether it's image analysis or photoshopping stuff, you know, actually creating hoaxes yourself, if you can offer those kind of skills and bring those to the table of ufology, and you can help to debunk these hoaxes and misidentifications as quickly as possible, then what you're doing is you're allowing the rest of the field, those people that don't have those skills, to focus on the better evidence, so that...
And that's what I set up my channel to do, exactly that. But no one appreciates it.
Half of ufology isn't caught up for the next couple of weeks looking at a video that's probably a bunch of birds. And I think quite often we've lost a lot of time that's been wasted because intelligent people who haven't developed that trained eye have got excited about a video which is then later quite easily debunked.
Okay, so experts being like Corbell? Nah. What other experts got excited about it being a UFO, not a bird? In that latest one. I don't know. Lou? Tim McMillan? Would you class them as experts though? I just call them as media promoters. who is? I suppose there are some well-known names that got caught up in that, but I don't know any on that particular video, at least. Anyway.
Or a case like the Roswell slides, which is just a team of people come together online and debunk it. Meanwhile, you've got a presentation going on involving some of the more important people in the field, or more
Doland, Lyndon, Howell, who else was it? Cameron, Grant Cameron, all promoting it as real when it had already been debunked.
well-known people in the field acting like this is a true mystery. It's already solved.
You notice that Finn's very careful not to mention any names. Unlike me, I will throw names out there.
Already solved. Really embarrassing, and that's a great example of stop giving people like Mick West the reasons to use the word sensationalism, and actually treat this field like it is a serious scientific endeavour, rather than, oh, this video looks great, let's hype it, release it, and then when people say actually it's probably birds, we'll just kind of ignore them. And when a subject like this is already lacking in credibility because it's been a cottage industry for so long and it's been attacked from all angles, we seem to not really be doing ourselves many favours when we make moves like this, when we do sensationalise things that just feed right into the hands of the skeptics. You know, when we're told it's all just gullible analysis, and we keep on putting out gullible analyses that we hype up, what else can we expect? Well, this stuff about disclosure is great, but it pays not to get too excited about it because it could blow up in our faces quite easily. And cheers, by the way. And I feel like sometimes we're our own worst enemies.
A typical Brit and his booze.
So if you've got this far, thanks for watching. And I just want to end with a recommendation. I have read quite a few graphic novels this past year and a half, and there's this one called The Department of Truth. I've got volume 1 and volume 2 here, and I've got volume 3 on its way, and it's all about conspiracy theories, and the premise is that the more people that believe a conspiracy theory, once it reaches a certain critical mass, it then becomes real. It's good fun, it's quite edgy artwork, as you can see here. I'll try and find some better examples.
But isn't there a little truth in all conspiracies, though? And a lot of the conspiracies that we're told were conspiracies, especially over the virus, have been actually true, and the government, are still trying to create departments of censorship, especially in New Zealand, to trying to get any sites like mine removed as disinformation. Even though it might be factual 2 years later when eventually it's revealed. So who's telling the lies? Is it mainstream media? Mainstream media are the worst liars at the moment. And I think the government are still lying. Even all this Congress hearing is just like another show. It's a bit better than what Greer put together. But is it going to go anywhere? Is it just another way to get funding to do research on UFOs, but not actually reveal anything to the public about it, apart from putting up the odd balloon UFO to make it laughable? I don't know. To me, that's straight away disinformation once they start putting up seagulls and balloons. So far, I haven't got any respect for anything that's sort of happened with the Congress hearings. Maybe I'll still keep giving it a chance to see if it gets any better, but they've got to do better on the video front. They need to show which ones they couldn't debunk and put out all the information there to the worldwide people like me to have a look at, because we may be able to debunk it. If we can't, then it is a solid case. But Mick West is going to go to town on it. He's going to prove beyond a doubt that it's not a UFO, even if it ends up being a UFO. That's how Mick West is, I'm afraid. I don't think we'll ever get full disclosure. People say it's every year and nothing happens. So obviously a talking head like UFO Jesus, right? He's got probably heaps of followers now. He's like a cult leader. He tried to get Tyler to promote him once, and it was then I knew that he was just another grifter trying to make some money off the UFO topic. And I tried to ask him whether he had his own sightings and whatnot, and really he hadn't. You know, he was into yoga, not Yoda, probably into that too, and meditation and all that, and having strange things happen or synchronicity happening, you know. Yeah, so I like Finn. He's pretty good. What he said here made total sense, and we need more people like him talking like this. But his channel's so small, it's probably smaller than mine. We'll have a look in a minute. No one's ever going to hear about it. He does a few debunks on there. It's called Finn365. He got 5 likes, and one of them was for me, and only 31 views. So he's got the same problem I have. If you don't get enough eyes on your material, then no one's going to wake up. Anyway, we'll go to his story. You got to remember, he's the experiencer, so like myself now, which was unexpected, and you can see how disappointed he is with the UFO fields, right? Okay, so he's redone his thing with more graphics here. I'll just play it, a clip of it.
It's quite hard to deal with because it's an unspoken ridicule in many cases, and then you see it. Someone will slip up in something they say, and you'll realise, they've just been being polite this whole time. They do think I'm an idiot after all.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I'll start from the beginning.
See, Finn's the same way. You know, it's a bit like me telling me about the paranormal that happens. Some people are just going to laugh and all that sort of stuff, or mock you, or the alien visit. Yeah, it's fair enough. I would have been exactly the same, you know. But with this last 6 years, I've changed my opinion, and as I've heard more and more credible sources and stories, it's made me a better person to run this UFO channel. I listen more, and I'm less skeptical, and I will try to fact check things after as well, because you know, some people do lie. With this story sounds too cookie cutter, based on what other stuff out there, like Al visiting them in the bedroom and all that sort of stuff, sounds too cookie cutter, fakery. You know, this comes back to Wesley Schreiber story, and yeah, UFO Proof had a story just like that. I don't believe it, especially now I know all about his criminal history and his use of drugs, and people like that will try and make money any way they can to finance their habit. And he's saying how he would tell a story, but people wouldn't really take it seriously, you know. And, you know, if you see UFOs, it sort of changes your life, you know. He saw them up close and personal, right? He saw the actual shapes and all that sort of stuff. It's not like a dot in the sky, right, which could have been anything, or a fast moving blob in the sky, which could be a balloon. He actually saw them hovering for quite a while. So I'll just carry on with the story.
In 2007, watched the Disclosure Press Conference, the 2001 Disclosure Press Conference on YouTube. Just randomly. I was just randomly looking for something to do. I think the computer game I'd been playing for the last few weeks, I'd completed it. So I was like, right, I'll do something different. Let's get on YouTube and see
He's a young'un.
what's interesting. And I thought,
What's his computer
UFOs.
games?
I haven't seen anything about them for ages, because I do remember when I was a bit younger seeing a couple of magazines about ghosts and UFOs and finding that interesting, but then not continuing any serious interest. And then seeing another documentary about UFOs maybe around 2003, 2002, and that I found that fascinating, but then not really any major interest in it until 2007, when I see this Disclosure Press Conference from 2001. And at that point, I was suddenly, it was a realization. It was quite shocking to me to realize that there were actually military people and pilots and that kind of thing. I didn't realize that it went that deep until I saw that press conference. At that point, I began to think about it quite seriously, and I thought, well, they're saying it's real, and I remembered my mother telling me of a sighting that she had. She told me this a few months before her death, and she died in 1998. So I never had a chance to talk to her about it afterwards. And when she told me, of course, in 1998, I had no interest in UFOs, so it was just a fleeting story that she told. I wish that she was still alive now, or in 2007 when I watched the Disclosure Press Conference, because then I would have definitely asked her to tell me that story in as much detail as possible. But what I remember her telling me in 1998 was that she was a teenager and she was standing in her father's study, which was a room on the first floor of the house that she lived in Guildford in the UK. And she said that she just saw a classic flying saucer in broad daylight coming down in the park behind her house and landing on the floor and then continuing down into the floor as if the floor wasn't even there. And that's all I remember her telling me, and I think that's all she did tell me. Quite a simple, quite a short story, but not a simple one in the way that it goes down into the floor, kind of bizarre, and you don't hear about that in many other sightings, though I have heard of it since in a couple of other ones. So at that point I'm thinking, wow, okay, so yeah, my mum told me she saw one in broad daylight, and didn't think much of it at the time, but now I'm seeing military guys and pilots, and this is starting to really concern me. So I started to delve more into the subject, and of course it's a rabbit hole and a half. So I was absorbing stuff by Jaime Maussan and Billy Mayer, all sorts of hoaxes, and I had to work my way through that. Luckily, I've been a photographer since age 5.
So my dad was big into bird photography, and he wanted me to get into photography. I took this at age 5. I was sat in the what they call a hide, a bird hide, which is just a little tent. I was sat in there for like 2 or 3 hours, age 5, just snapping pictures every time I saw it land.
Was it a robin?
Taught myself Photoshop in around 2002, and actually started a little business doing graphic design for people. So I'd worked out how to use Photoshop pretty well. I'd photographed falcons in the context of the job where I worked at a falconry equipment manufacturer. So I was able to debunk some of this stuff as I worked my way through it. I worked out that Billy Mayer was full of crap, and his videos were very clever hoaxes using fishing wire and that kind of stuff. So it was an adventure, but I was quite convinced that this was real. And then in late 2007, as I was driving up to my sister's house at about 8 o'clock in the evening, I saw 2 balls of light dropping down out of low cloud cover straight ahead of me, several hundred meters ahead of me. And as they dropped out of the clouds, they were corkscrewing around each other. And so they're coming down, heading towards my sister's house. and I lost them behind the rooftops of the nearby estate because I'm coming closer to these houses. So I pull into my sister's car park, get out of the car, looked back in the direction where I'd last seen these two balls of light, and now these two black triangles come floating over the rooftops of the houses that had been previously blocking my view, and now these black triangles pass directly over the top of my sister's house. They're very close together. They've each got a white flashing light in the centre, but apart from that, it's just three white lights in a triangle on each craft. And
Still
I
actual
estimated
triangles.
at the time that they were about the height of Big Ben, which is the clock tower in London, which is not the highest. It's not like a skyscraper or anything. So low that it really stood out. I've never seen an aircraft that low in Monmouth, and I've seen lots of aircraft flying over Monmouth. I've lived here most of my life, on and off, and I know what aircraft like when they're passing over there, much higher up. So these triangles just flew directly over my head, over my sister's house. I stood right next to my sister's house. They disappear towards the centre of town, and I walked into my sister's house and I just said, I can't believe it, but I think I've just seen two UFOs. I remember, even though my sister and I have a very good relationship, I remember thinking as I told her this, she's not going to believe me. She's not going to believe me because I've just a few months ago told her that I'm fascinated by UFOs and spoken to her about Mum's sighting, and it did seem too good to be true, so I censored it in my memory. I completely blocked out the memory of the balls of light. When I say blocked out, I mean that I didn't talk about the balls of light when I spoke to my sister or when I spoke to anyone else about it afterwards.
That's the first time I've heard him mention that part of the story too, and his mum's sighting going at the ground, so that's kind of interesting. So does it mean that in that park, underneath it, is actually an alien base in the middle of London, or whatever it was, Wells, or whatever it was?
It just seemed too weird. And yet these black triangles were so unambiguously not any kind of normal aircraft. If you think about like the red arrows, the well-known formation flying jets that you see around the UK, that would be the closest thing that I would have ever seen to aircraft travelling so close together. And yet these were clearly not jets.
See, you'd think he'd be interested in that park and somehow getting a LiDAR, or one of those, hire those people that do underground penetration to see what's actually under the park. Be interesting if you found that it's actually lots of hollow sections and it's not just pipes. So you never know. Does that mean that maybe the government know they're there under a park? Is it part of the government, perhaps? And why do some people see them and others don't? So was she only one that saw that UFO come down, land, go below the park? So does it mean that the cloaking technology wasn't working then, and she was just lucky to see it? Imagine if you're at the park and this UFO's coming down and suddenly it passes through you and goes underground. That's another thing, right? So yeah. So it's a crazy story, and it's certainly unique.
There you go. There's one sighting in 2007. Now I move house, and I move into the town where I now live, and I get a job as a taxi driver. And I'm obviously thinking, wow, pretty lucky to have that sighting of those two triangles. It seemed way too good to be true, and really soon after what I would call waking up about this subject. So it's now September 26th, 2008, Friday evening, and it's around 10 o'clock. I pick up a customer in a taxi. I pick him up from the Gatehouse at the bottom of Monmouth. It was called the Gatehouse at the time. It was a guy with a walking stick. He had a few pints. Never seen him before, and I never saw him afterwards. And I picked him up, and as we're heading up the dual carriageway, out of Monmouth to drop him a few miles out of Monmouth. I see these two black triangles, and they're coming over the car. We're heading out this way, they're heading over my head, heading back towards Monmouth as I'm heading out of Monmouth. And it's two black triangular shaped aircraft in formation, with one slightly behind the other. And they had very distinctive big blue lights along the back end. And I remember at that point actually getting quite frustrated, because I was like, oh my god, this is the second time I'm seeing these now, and I never expected to see them again. What is going on?
See, if I saw that, I'd be a wee bit sceptical, thinking, oh damn, someone's got those Chinese LED kites going up. You know, until you can see the physical size, then you can then discount that. But if I saw that, I was thinking, what the hell is that? So I wouldn't think it was aliens straight away. But he does get a closer sighting of them, and he could estimate the size of it, which would rule out kites. So he sees it again. So just keep it going.
So as I'm peering through the windscreen, I think I said, like, what the hell? Can you see that? Something along those lines. To the guy who sat in the passenger seat next to me. So he leans forward and he can see them as well. And he said something along the lines of...
see, that would be good.
Yeah,
to get a witness to come forward on that one.
Aircraft. He said something along those lines.
So he thought they were normal aircraft. So he thought they were normal aircraft. That's kind of interesting. Normal aircraft wouldn't have a row of lights like that at the back end. But I can understand seeing triangle shape with lights on it.
So I actually pulled over the car in the first... it's one of those little pull-ins where you can stop that I came to. And I got out and I watched them just heading off over the hill back towards Monmouth. I got back in the car and then I told him, I saw those a while back, and I think I told him I saw those last year. I saw these black triangles last year. I think those are UFOs. And he said that he used to be in the military and he'd never seen any aircraft like that. Dropped him off. Never saw him again. Where I dropped him, it wasn't at a house. It was at a driveway where there are a bunch of houses. I wouldn't know which door to knock on if I was to. Of course, it would be really convenient if I could have gone and found him in the weeks following and then got him to write down everything that he saw so he could corroborate my story. Not going to happen. But anyway. So I've dropped him off and I'm turning the taxi round to come back into town. But from that distance, I can't get in touch with my boss over the radio, which we have this really cool radio system. But it doesn't work once you've gone over a hill. So I had to ring him on the mobile phone. So I rang him on the mobile and he said, head back into Monmouth but stop at the hotel called the Old Court, pick some people up there. So I did, and the Old Court was still a couple of miles out of Monmouth on the other side of this hill. So I'm waiting for them for about 10-15 minutes and no one comes out. So I ring the boss and I say they're not coming out. He says head back into Monmouth for your 10:30 pickup, and it would have been a customer who I picked up several times a week at 10.
Makes you wonder if these people he's picking up had something to do with it. Maybe they're working for the government and they were just testing him out to see if what he's going to think of it.
30. And this is how I know the exact time of the final sighting, which is to come. So as I'm coming back into town, I thought that was it. I thought, wow, I've had 2 black triangle sightings now. So as I come over the hill and I'm back within radio reception, I remember distinctly saying on the radio to my other boss, because we had 2 bosses. I had 2 bosses. There was the guy who owned the company and the guy who was his partner, who bought into part of the business, who was slightly younger. And I said to the slightly younger guy, UFOs in Monmouth again, because he knew that I had seen UFOs before. And I just couldn't believe it that it happened the second time. So I was saying to him, I just saw these UFOs as I was driving out towards Simmons Yard. And he was like, no way. So I've just finished talking to the younger boss and on the radio, and I'm coming down the final stretch of the dual carriageway.
What's that on his bookshelf at the back?
And as I get to the set of traffic lights,
Right, he's into magic.
stopping at these traffic lights, and I can see
Magic cards.
what look like two lights hovering above the trees just over to the right hand side of the road. I'm watching them intently. I was not expecting to have another UFO sighting. But I'm thinking, whoa, what's going on now? And I'm coming down this stretch of road, and as I get close to them, it becomes very clear that it's two balls of light, two orbs, just hovering above the trees, one above the other.
One looks like a tear shape though.
The top one was slightly larger, and I noticed this as I was coming directly past them. So I'm driving down the motorway on a 4-lane, it's called a dual carriageway in the UK, and they are above the trees. So if I'm on the inside lane, so they're 3 lanes away, some grass verge, a row of trees, and another row of trees about 10 metres behind them. And they're above that second row of trees. I estimated it maybe 30 metres away. So as I'm driving past them, I'm literally watching them. I started to wind my window down instinctively as I got closer to them. So I'm looking at them, watching them go over my shoulder. And the lower one, I'm thinking it was probably about this big.
Almost looks like a meteorite with a tail, doesn't it?
It had this big spike sticking out of its right-hand side. And this spike looked like it was getting longer. But both of these balls looked like they were fizzing intensely.
This sounds more like the Kicksburg event, doesn't it?
Sun. Imagine that, like a ball of fire, but not moving slowly, moving fast. The only thing I could compare it to would be a firework. I mean, that's the
Well, the Kicksburg case as well, where it was going too slow through the sky, but it had a tail on it, and it seemed to be in control.
Just a fizzing fire, sparklers, those little ones that you can spin around that you hold as a kid. Imagine those, except that the sparks aren't going very far, just like as if the sparks are almost contained, so you've got this intense kind of fizzing. And I was just really concerned, especially with the spike coming out of one of them. I was like, are they going to explode? So I carried on driving, but very slowly. Pulled the car over in the slip road that I knew was coming. So I thought I'll get a bit of distance from them, but then I'll pull over in the slip road and turn back and watch what was going on. I get out of the car, I turn back, and now they're not two balls of light anymore. There are two black triangles in the same space where the balls of light had been hovering. But now we've got two black triangles and they're side by side, and they were sat there for maybe a few seconds before they started moving across the road. So I'm staring up the road, and they're moving directly across the road. And as they got about halfway across, they both became transparent, as if they were kind of showing off, because it only lasted about a second. It was just like they became ripples, like transparent ripples, but I could actually see the ripples, so I could still tell where the outline of the triangles were. It wasn't like they became invisible.
So that sounds like
cloaking. It was like they became transparent with a kind of rippling effect. Lasted about a second, maybe half a second, and then they were solid again, and they were carrying on across the road. And then they both turned away from me, and as they started to make their exit, all of the different coloured lights on the underside, because there were different coloured lights that you'll see in my reconstruction.
So you can see how big they are there.
Down close. I mean, the blue lights are exactly as I remember. The other different coloured lights, obviously, I wasn't able to make a note at the time of what the exact pattern of lights was on the underside of each triangle. But it was identical on each triangle, this pattern, and it was a
So we didn't have a taxi
pattern,
cam.
but it was symmetrical. So if there was a green light here, there'd have been a green light on the other side mirroring it. So it's a rough approximation of those lights. But the blue lights, very, very distinct, big, bulging, turquoise blue, oblong-shaped lights sticking out the bottom end. A row of 4 on each triangle. All of those different coloured lights. As the triangles made their exit, the lights faded to white. Like someone just turned a dimmer switch, and now we're changing all of the different colours to white for some reason at the same time. So my estimation on the size of the triangles, it was pretty easy to estimate their size because they're so low, and as they're crossing over the road, they basically covered all 4 lanes. Not much bigger than that. I was also standing quite close to
So 4 car widths,
close to the
big.
only petrol station in Monmouth that I know very well, and if you just lifted the roof off that petrol station, it's got a distinct roof there, and you'd have held it over the dual carriageway, that would roughly cover 4 lanes. It's a 12-car station, so there are 12 pumps that fit underneath that roof quite comfortably, so you could comfortably fit 12 cars underneath that roof. Each triangle I estimate was roughly that size. So they weren't huge, but they weren't small either. And so as they turn their rear ends to me, one of them heads straight up the road, and the other one turns right and starts to head over the bridge, the wide bridge. And then I had to get back in the taxi and get on with my night's work, which is exactly what I did. And that was the final sighting. I've never seen anything like that since, despite desperately wanting to, obviously, and despite maintaining a significant interest in this subject.
Change you for life. I'll leave it there. I'll give a link to it so you can listen to the rest of what he's got to say. It's very interesting. I've heard that story now for 6 times now, and it's still interesting. And again, he's told some more information about his experience that we hadn't heard before. So there must be more people like him out there that needs to come onto my show and tell this story because it's very interesting. Whether it's made up, we won't know. But still, if you're brave enough to come on and talk about UFOs if you're interested in it, I could set it up now if you wanted to, but it's getting a bit late. But yeah, if you go on our Discord user group, you can find it in the pinned comment. Then we can arrange you to come on a particular day and you'll be the first on to talk about it. Get some drawings done if you ain't got any photographs. But yeah, it is getting a bit late now, isn't it? I probably should wrap up. So that actually went quite longer than I expected. And we have got UFO Man here. He's been putting up some stuff. Let's just have a quick look at his page before we go. Let's have a look. So we got Keiku again. And yeah, he was on Joe Rogan as well. And he was saying stuff on about Joe Rogan that didn't make any sense whatsoever. He said the tear in the sky proved the Nimitz case, which it didn't, by the rotation or the gyration or whatever that means. I think he means how they moved. It didn't prove that at all. What it did is it proved that there may be a portal where hundreds of UFOs come through and headed down towards the sea, some of the images, and vanished. So this one here, what's that one? You reckon 2 to 3 boomerang objects. Okay, so let's have a look at that one, shall we?
Hey guys, it's UFO Man. Here's a clip coming out of Buenos Aires, Argentina, dated April 28, 2022.
Straight away, it reminds me of the German CGI brothers that of their TR3Bs. Just the way it's symmetry there. And straight away I think it's a fake because look how blurry it all is. And it looks like it's being filmed through a car window with something being shone on it. So let's see.
Of two objects that appear to be boomerang shaped. They sit in the sky for a short period of time, then they move off.
You know, I think that's a reflection of those high mass lights, LEDs, in the car park, and it's reflecting too off in the window.
In tandem,
let's see.
And disappear.
Let's see. There's one with a curvy one, but there could be some other ones around here that have that shape.
Here in the length of one frame. Take a look, making a...
Of course, we're not going to see any high mass lights there, and you need to look on Google Maps.
Assessment, let me know what you think.
Looks like a reflection of something anyway. That's a good question. High mass lights. V-shape is uncommon, but I think there will be. V-shaped high mass lights. Maybe they got ones in shape of triangles. Super zoom. Okay, so could be like that one where they got it on certain angles. Certain angles, right? High mass light reflected in the car window. And of course he was turning around filming it, you wouldn't see those because they're way up. Kind of looks a bit like that one there, doesn't it? It's almost like V-shapes, but multiple V-shapes. I think Scott Brando also had one recently, it looked like a V-shape. They're that good V-shape. So imagine if you didn't have all those other ones around and you had two of these in the car park. We're only using two. Maybe they can turn on how many they want to save power. So that's my thing. So for a sloppy UFO channel to put this up, they should have really gone to the Google Maps street view where the so-called guy was standing. That's what MUFON investigators do, right? They go there, see if there's anything obvious where it's going to be a reflection, whether it was hoaxed. But there's only ones that do look like V's here. Exactly, like, is that one? No. Could be like that. A strip of lights going up that way, strip of lights going up that way. Keep on going. What's that one? Can't quite see how it's lit. Another one that's lit here. Not quite V-shaped. Like I said, we might get lucky. Let's have a look at that one. Okay, that one sort of forms a V-shape, but not a strip of them. Hey, Blue Chicken, you're a bit late to the party. We're just rounding off things now, ready to shut down. But you can always go back and rewatch it. I won't do the Blue Chicken dance today, because we're going to wrap up in a minute. I think what we did today was fairly interesting, talking about playing video clips of what other people were saying and stuff and talking about it. how damaged ufology really is, and how easy the people are now to give people a pass for faking stuff. That's not going to progress ufology into the truth, and certainly make non-believers believe if you forgiven a person for hoaxing stuff. It doesn't work. So this one here on UFO Man, we're trying to see if there's any strip lights that form a V shape, and I think there is. Here's one that's got V shape as well. Whether they can turn it off and on, how many they have, I think they should be able to nowadays. Someone might be out there and know where that location is exactly. Does it say on the screen here? I haven't seen that. But where's the location? That could be anywhere. We want to know the street or the suburb or the city, right? But yeah, I think these are reflections of a high mass light for a car park or something. And the guy knows it. Is that what he did?
Take a look.
Right.
Let me know what you think down below in the comments.
Did anyone say high mass lights down here? This was filmed out of an open car window. Who said that? UFO Man, but where's the proof? Because it certainly looks like it's filmed through a window, mate, because it's so blurry. In fact, there looks like a limb of it, doesn't it? So it could be 3. And that makes more sense. I reckon it is high mass light. Open window, eh? I don't think so. Looks like the edge of the car there. Eh? There's the car. Side window.
Here's a
side window. We didn't actually see it wound down.
replay. Here's a replay of the objects moving in tandem to the right and disappearing, along with 5 still shots run through different
Okay, so why didn't it use a video? Because then it would be clear it was a reflection.
filters. Take a look. Let me know what you think down below in the
Okay, does it look like a round down window?
comments.
So he's going through multiple windows here. There's no way that was round down. They even look like a different colour there.
Down below in the
See, different colour.
comments.
Look, it's tinted glass. 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 So how many windows is he filming through here? And then he's going back. Oh, that's what it has to be. What else would it be if it's not that? If I'm wrong. Could be those solar tube balloons. Another possibility. So let's just put that in. Let's see. V-shaped. So it could be a kite. LEDs. Could be a balloon too, I suppose, but a balloon kite. So it could be something like that, with more LEDs around the edge. And it's far away. And we're just seeing the overexposed light. So it could be a transparent one. Clear plastic, right, with LEDs. What's that one? Multiple kites on one bit of string, that's for sure. Okay. So this is a possibility I can think it could be, but I think I'm probably right that it's LED bulbs reflecting in the window. It's only got, it's weird that it's wound down. We didn't see that in the evidence presented to us. He reckons they resemble clouds, but no, I don't think so. Not in those shapes. Plasma-like dragon riders, freaking dragon riders. Now there are dragon kites. He reckons they're clouds, but I don't think so. This shape is too regular. Looks like camera artifacts. But hell, what kind of camera artifact? How do you explain it? I think my explanation is probably the most likely. So at least one person said they think it's faked. So that's a good thing.
Hey, if you like the video, hit that like button and subscribe.
I suppose it's possible it could be planes set right in the sky. And what we're seeing is what's left over of some letters, like asterisks that go both directions, right? So it could have been a skywriter plane. There's another possibility.
Subscribe and remember to share us out to your social media platform.
Does kind of look like kites with LEDs now, look at it on that angle. But look how blurry it is. It's got to be through a window, isn't it? If that was outside shot, that'd be a lot more crisper. So I still think
as always, thank you for watching.
You're useless, man, UFO man. Okay, what else did you put up? He puts up a lot of videos, but he didn't take some down because they get flagged for copyright, and he doesn't make any money off it. Now he's got all these people doing interviews with him, but like third phase, to try and make himself credible. Unfortunately, he's getting a few people that had some credible sighters, like Thomas Reed. I think his site was a legit one. But now I don't know, because now he's appearing on UFO Man and probably third phase, so... And Lou. Yeah, so I think we've done most of our ones. That's it. So we'll wrap up there for today. Well, hopefully you enjoyed it anyway, and seeing something different than what other channels are putting up. Hopefully Finn doesn't mind us giving a plug, even if he hates me. And you can see third place seemed to be down too. Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, Blue Chicken. Better than I have been. Haven't got that fatigue like I was getting. So I think I'm slowly getting better, and I'm not so much out of wind anymore. But the haters out there can use it against me if they want to. I don't care. My heavy breathing or my blocked nose or whatever. One day I might get a desktop mic and that'll get rid of that, maybe. But they cost like $200, don't they? So yeah, so that's not working still. So how can we do UFO Stalker if UFO Stalker's not going to give us any of the public listings now? Why even bother doing a site like this if you can't see what's going on? Okay, so there's the no TR3Bs. See, no picture, although there probably is. It's just that it's blocked. No picture. So you get to read about the UFO cases now, but you're not allowed to see what they saw. Is that what's happening? You have to pay a sub. Let's see. No photo, no photo. No photo. More and I suppose he hasn't put back cases with photos like he had. No. You want to filter it, don't you? You want to filter a search by cases that got photographs. I can't see any filters. And that's just opening up something new. Filters. What's that one? Bookmarks, that's useless. Insights. Yeah, what's the point of it though? We can't even see what the people recording. Totally waste of time. Gone downhill big time, MUFON. And according to Linesground, he phoned up the people that said, do you have to be a member to see the images? And she said yes. So why have UFO Stalker with images blacked out then? Why not just have to see images you have to subscribe $5 a month? Why doesn't it say that instead, if that's the case? Doesn't make any sense. Can't see, can't see, can't see. Well, let's just open up one of them. And that one... doesn't seem to have any images like it says, so have they got any that's got images now? How can we scroll around? Won't make me go downwards. None. None. It's unbelievable. They can't all be none, right? Something weird's going on. MUFON. Yes, scumbags. Anyway, I'm going to close it down there. Hopefully one day they'll give it back to us. And we can start doing MUFON cases in the weekend. And that'd be good. Thanks for everybody that joined us today. Well appreciated. Even though that might be bad hours for you. And I hope you like my new title with Robert removed, with the new alien shooting lasers, sapping the frauds with the laser beam. Dance away. Yeah, I know, I spelled it wrong. Take care on the roads, people. Those men in black will run you off. And hopefully I'll see you Tuesday, Wednesday. See how we go. Like I said, we got carpet laying next week, and the carpet laying, we're about to get the house back to normal, and my sky watching, yay! Good night, Blue Chum.